Hello, and welcome to Books and Crannies.
A book lovers podcast.
We're not singing again.
Come on.
We could, the whole entire episode.
Yeah.
This
is our musical episode. Welcome.
Yeah. The like the weird sitcoms who always do a musical episode.
Always.
And you're like, why? Did you just not have content for that day?
Right.
I'm Danielle.
I am Sarah.
And welcome back.
Welcome.
Or welcome to.
Back.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today, Danielle?
Today, Sarah, we're still in the world of ACOWAR.
Of course. ACOWARG.
Warg with a G at the end.
I am a pirate, as we all know.
If you don't know, you should. Where you been? A Court of Wings and Ruin, y'all.
Good job.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm working on it and practicing. Getting better every day.
I am proud of you.
Thank you.
But
anyhow,
we're talking about chapters 18 through 40.
Indubitably. And the last episode,
yeah,
we left off.
We did
with good old
Reese, Daddy Reese
saying there's another meeting we need to have before they have the High Lord mountain meeting.
High Lord mountain meeting.
It could be in the mountains.
We don't know.
They haven't decided.
Anyway,
spoilers. So that's where we left off, and he didn't give any context about what the heck that meeting would be.
Daddy Reese left us on a little bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, he was like ominous as hell. We gotta meet.
And soon.
Yeah. No time to waste. And where do they have to go?
They gotta go to the freaking Court of Nightmares.
They sure do.
Yep.
They gotta go ask freaking Care if they'll band together.
Yeah.
With their Darkbringers.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, and I feel like we
wrong.
didn't really learn anything more about these Darkbringers.
No.
It was just casually mentioned.
We've never heard of them before.
No. Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, they're spooky. They fight well.
Yeah.
Fight good. They do murder.
They do the pew-pew.
I don't think they have guns. But yeah. The pew-pews, I'm sorry.
Come on!
But nonetheless, we learned that, my eyeball itches. I'm sorry.
we did learn that in the book.
Just
for
now.
Sure.
In the book. It was written in Danielle. I don't think I'd fit in.
I mean,
my name.
Your name doesn't fit for sure.
I need something fantastical.
Yeah.
But anyhow, we learned that the Court of Nightmares sort of gets to decide whether or not they participate in war.
It's part of
even though Reese is their High Lord.
Yeah.
That was part of the deal. They stay under the mountain. They don't bother anyone with their antics and their nonsense. But hopefully they'll help.
I don't know.
And that's the whole goal. That's the meeting they have to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Moore's like, it's not going to happen, dude.
Yeah, he's not going to help you guys.
Care's going to shoot you the fuck down.
You guys. As if she's not a part of it.
I have nothing to do with this. But she's convinced that her dad's not going to help them at all.
Yeah.
That it's not at all worth asking. And Reese is just like, no, I'll convince him.
Yeah.
It's fine. I got this. And Moore is not convinced by his convincing. Well, Moore, get it together.
Come on. Have some.
But before they go...
I was really quiet. I said, have some faith.
For those, louder for those in the back.
No, I'm not doing it again.
I'm more about the second time.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. We're all over the place.
We are. It's messy.
It's messy. We've had a day.
Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah. Anyways, during all of this...
Everyone wants to learn how to fly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was Reese or Cassian was like, nah, we don't got time for that.
Reese is all supportive.
Yeah.
So it might have been Cass.
Maybe it was Cassian.
Because Azrael's the one who volunteers to help her learn.
Yeah.
And...
It is Cassian. He's like, it's not possible in the time that we have to teach you how to fly and also... how to balance with armor and shields and
right. Yeah,
weapons.
she talks about fighting with the Illyrian legions potentially.
Yeah, in the sky.
If she can. Yeah. She wants to participate.
Mm-hmm.
And Cass is like, you're just great, and it's not gonna happen before the war. Az is like, I'll teach you.
Yeah.
And then Reese is like, you do you, and any other avenue of escape is not a bad one.
Yeah.
Like, if you need to get yourself out of a sticky situation.
Yeah, he tells the rest of them, like, I will give her any chance at escaping if things go sour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's flying.
Yeah. And I just have to say that I love Asriel, and I'm so happy that we're, like, seeing more of him in this book, finally.
Yeah. We're getting to know him a little more.
Yeah.
I do love Asriel.
Yeah. He's very sweet.
He's very sweet, calming presence. Mm-hmm. He's a vibe. I want to give him a hug. And he's been through so much crap. Are you okay?
It was cold.
It's like, did you chip a tooth?
It's just
coldness.
Sensitive.
I feel you. And they also keep, like, prodding Nesta to see if she will train with Cass, and she keeps shooting them down.
Yeah.
In all of this, because Feyre and Cass are planning to get back to training.
Mm-hmm.
And in the last episode, we talked a little bit about how Amryn had suggested looping Feyre's sisters in on fixing the wall.
Yeah.
And so Feyre brings it up.
She does.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, Amryn will teach you things if you're willing to help us.
Yeah. Yeah. She said Amryn, is willing to train her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Nesta says that, asks about the queens.
Yeah.
And if they were turned immortal. And Amryn's like, we don't really know, actually. It's been quiet on their end ever since Highburn.
Yeah, we have not confirmed one way or another.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
I know.
What's going on there?
I wonder.
We'll never find out.
Probably not.
But Nesta does say, like, those bitches. And also that king. If you promise me that they're all gonna die, then I'll help you.
Yep.
Which, Nesta, relax. This is war. There's no promises as to who's going to survive.
It's true.
Like, obviously, the goal is to kill them. I feel like that's a given.
I would hope so, anyways.
Come on. So Feyre's like, yeah, I promise. I'm like, that feels like a lofty promise to me.
Well, and I think it's Amryn. Let me just double check here. Yeah, Amryn tells Nesta that the killing blow, like, for the king is hers if she wants it.
Yeah.
She's like, you can kill him.
Yeah. Which Nesta doesn't really respond to at this point. And then Feyre's like, wow, Nesta's agreeable right now.
I know.
I'm going to ask her if she'll tell her story to the people in the Cordyceps Bears. The Hoon City.
Yeah.
And all the High Lords who are supposed to be gathering.
For this meeting
coming up. And Nesta's like, nah.
Nah.
She gets pissed.
I draw the line at talking to people.
Yeah, fair.
Same.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Absolutely
Nesta.
same.
Yeah, she's definitely refusing to, and also threatens the entire room if they ask Elaine the same. Like, she's, you better not or I'll kill you, essentially.
She tells them there's a lot of in this episode. She tells them that she'll rip their throats out.
Yeah, casually.
She's like, don't do it or else.
Or I'm going to get those throats.
I'm going to get them.
You watch your throats' backs. Do throats have their own backs?
Yeah.
I guess they do now. But also Nesta's kind of intimidating, so I'm sure any threat she makes, they're like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
She might actually follow through on that.
You probably don't want to fuck with her too much.
Yeah, especially because she came out of the cauldron all wild and different.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what that's about.
Yeah.
Yet. But then Feyre and Rhys go on a walk after all this conversation. And she basically asks him, like, how do you balance being both a family member and their High Lord? Like, how do you piece the two? Because she sort of regrets how she brought up the thing with Nesta about having her share her story. She's like, I shouldn't have done it in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, this should have been a conversation in private. Like, it's my first mistake. Like, how do you go about both being their ruler and their brother or whatever?
Yeah.
And he basically said it's not easy.
Yeah. He's like, it's never going to be easy.
No, he's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. This is the first of many mistakes, and I'm sure very small comparatively to some of them. Did you have a quote?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
They also talk while they're on this walk about, Feyre apologizes to him for, like, snapping at him earlier. I don't remember what she snapped at him about last episode.
He said that Valaris is not ready for Nesta Artron or something. And she was like,
don't talk about my sister.
Sister isn't a wild animal.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect.
Yeah. But they have this conversation and she apologizes and he's like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, you have every right to push me. And he basically says, like, we're equals and we can question each other and do all of this. And
yeah. And he's like, I want you to.
Thought it was a sweet moment.
It was.
It just shows that, like,
he has the utmost respect for her.
He does.
Like, he's not trying to make her submissive in any way, shape, or form. Like, he wants her to rule alongside him, not be just like an arm candy.
They're a team.
She's
not just a pet.
I know.
Yeah.
He wants her
like that.
He wants her to challenge him. And Feyre's like, that's cool and all, but I'm going to not do that right now because I think that we have to present like a unified front. Yeah. So I'm not going to undermine you in front of others.
We can do that in private.
Or through the bond or whatever.
Yeah.
Which fair, you know, they want to look like they're fine.
Sure.
Even though shit's a hot mess.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
All the things.
All of it.
All of it. And then Cassian, after all this.
Yeah.
Flies Feyre up to the House of Wind.
Mm-hmm.
And Feyre's... wow, my goodness. I just went to the opposite direction in my notes.
Got it.
Sorry
I was confused.
She's like,
wait a second.
Does he?
I'm like, uh-huh.
And also in this walk, disregard everything I said in the last 45 seconds.
None of it happened.
It was a lie.
What are you even talking about?
It did happen, just not. It already did. It's past.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either. Feyre also in this conversation asks Rhys if he trusts Lucian.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure how he gets brought up. I think he was taking advice from Lucian, and they were kind of chatting about that. And she asked him if he trusts him or not. And he essentially says, like, he is there. We know that he's here for Elaine. Like, we know that it's because his mate that he's here, and who knows if he'll end up selling out information eventually. But, like, as it stands, I can trust him enough to share, like, the barest details of what's going on.
Yeah, they're not sharing any information that would, like, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for? It wouldn't, like, destroy them if Hybern found out.
Yeah, it's
any
not
of
like
the information that Lucian is hearing.
Yeah, it's not like they're strategic war plans or anything. Yeah. They're just essentially talking about the meeting. That was all that really Lucian had heard at that point. So he hasn't let him her do much. Language is going to be fun. As always. I don't know. They should expect it.
Yeah, it's fine.
And then Feyre goes on to, like, worries about how she should present herself when they go under the mountain. Gordon Nightmares.
Yeah.
It's essentially Under the Mountain. It's the OG Under the Mountain.
Yeah.
Because last time she was there, she was just Rhys's toy. His plaything.
His pet.
Yeah, his pet. And she's like, I don't really know how to act now, because that was a whole different vibe. Rhys's like, it's up to you. He's always just giving her the choice to lead her own destiny.
I'm very confused.
Oh, no. Are you getting lost in your notes?
Yeah.
We're still in chapter 18, I believe.
Yeah. That's good.
Did it not help at all?
No. Oh, maybe I just didn't take notes on this then.
Oh.
All right. I'll try to remember then.
You're good. I can tell you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's worried about how she's going to present. She's worried about the tension that's bound to happen in the High Lord meeting. And Rhys does mention that, like, there's going to be a spell that's essentially forcing them to cease fire in the meeting. So if anyone were to attack, it could cost them their life.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't have to worry too much about that. She's worried about Tamlin coming and causing some drama.
I thought that when they were talking about this, how she should present herself, that they were talking about when they go to the city.
They were talking about both.
Okay.
She asks both about, like, the hewn city and also how she should present to the other High Lords. It's a conversation sort of about the same.
Cool.
And she's worried about the meeting, whatever. But they then talk to each other about how they'll both plan and fight with everything they have. Give it their all. I have a quote page written down.
Okay.
It's actually...
I do too. I wonder if it's the same.
It's on page 197. Mm-hmm. I think I wrote it down. And Feyre says to Rhys, "You and the city helped wake me up, helped bring me back to life. I will fight with everything I have to, Rhys. Everything." And this is after he had brought up the memory of them having visited that restaurant for the first time, and how she said the food made her feel awake and alive. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "It's you in the city."
It was the same.
Everything.
Same quote.
Look at us. I'm not surprised. I feel like we like the same things.
Usually.
Generally.
Yeah.
But anyway, that happens.
Yes. And then the next day... Well, hang on. Maybe not the next day. Yeah, it is the next day. Feyre goes to training with Cassian.
After a
quickie with Rhys.
A quick quickie. A morning quick.
Cassian gives her shit. Mm-hmm. He's like, "I hope you didn't wear yourself out too much for training, because this is going to hurt."
Yeah. He knows.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't keep it a secret.
No.
I mean, they're mated.
I feel like they can probably...
Smell
it? Like, that sounds gross, but...
True. The face senses.
Yeah.
They're heightened.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh man, you smell like sex."
Just kidding. I don't think they care. I feel like they're happy that Rhys is happy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know? But nonetheless, it's obvious. She does go to train with him, and he's kind of upset.
He's mad.
Yeah.
He's kind of mad at her.
Yeah. He's like, "You and Rhys hid the truth from me.
Yeah. You guys lied and deceived us.
And things might have been different at Highburn had you told us that you were the freaking High Lady of the Night Court ahead of time." She was like, "Well, that's exactly why we didn't freaking tell you, Cassie." Mm-hmm. And he's really sweet, actually, in all of this.
He is.
He's like, "We were all terrified for you. Like, not just as my High Lady, but like my friend and etc."
Yeah, and he says something along the lines of, like, "When you were just Rhys's mate, like, obviously we would still protect you, but as High Lady, you are not only his, but mine and Az's and Moore's and Amren's, and you are ours to protect."
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
I know. I love Cassian. She comes back to him with, like, she knew she could handle herself, but then has, like, flashbacks of Rhys with Martha. Mm-hmm. And how they must have been so afraid for him, and how this probably brought back memories for them of that. Like, the potential of her being taken and, you know, abused while they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I feel like that came to mind for Cassian, and that was part of why he was so upset.
Yeah, and I think he also worries that, you know, Rhys will pull the same kind of crap again and go face to face with Highburn by himself.
Yeah.
And not let his friends help him.
Right.
And take the brunt force of it.
That's an overarching theme in this section.
Yeah.
Trying to get Rhys to stop being a lone wolf.
Yeah.
Because, well, lots of people love you, Rhys.
Yeah. And your friends are also powerful. Like, let them help you.
Yeah. They're strong as well.
You are stronger in numbers than you are by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's the most powerful High Lord in history.
Yeah, but when you're facing...
Well,
an army.
Isn't Amren supposed to be stronger than him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Amren's creepy as hell.
Amren is spooky.
Yeah.
She's got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But then Nesta comes as they're having this conversation.
Yep.
She shows up.
She does. And her and Cassian, they are... Bickery. There is some serious sexual tension.
For sure.
It's gotta be
that, and it's like when you have a crush on someone and you just make fun of them all the time.
Like kindergarten crush picking on your...
Yes. Instead of admitting their feelings, they're just mean to each other. I think more Nesta than Cassie. And Cassie's just like responding. Yeah. He's just responding to her nonsense.
Yeah. Nesta is...
fiery.
She is spicy. Mm-hmm. She does not fuck around.
I know. In this book so far, I'm like, relax, Nesta.
I know, same. Like, yeah, you went through some trauma, but that doesn't give you a right to treat other people like shit.
I know. She's just angry.
Especially Cassian.
Yeah. Cassian's the sweetest. But I'm telling you, it's a crush thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, she doesn't want to admit that she loves the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. I don't know. And Feyre does not want to stay around for the bickering.
Hold on 1 second.
You're good.
While him and Nesta are arguing, Nesta calls him an oversized bat who likes to throw temper tantrums. And that made me actually cackle. So I just had to mention it.
Oversized bat who likes to throw tantrums. They're not as bad as Tammy tantrums.
No, and I feel like Nesta throws much worse tantrums than Cassian does.
Yeah.
Like, check yourself, honey.
For sure. Yeah. Cassian's got like a big ego on him.
Yeah.
But one, it's warranted.
Absolutely.
2, he's the sweetest softie at the same time.
Yeah.
Nesta, just love him.
Jeez. Just hug him.
Yeah.
Please.
Give him a smooch.
Do it for me.
I can't, so you have
Let
to.
me live vicariously through you, Nesta.
And then Feyre he doesn't want to stick around.
Yeah, no,
she's like, this is awkward.
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable. I'm not trying to be here. And so she like talks to Rhys through the bond, like, you gotta come save me. And he's like, I'm busy.
Sucks to suck. I'm busy. I'm in a meeting.
Yeah, but I'm sending Az.
Yeah.
So Azriel shows up.
He does.
And he's like, we gotta do our flying lessons early.
I really like your Az impression.
Thank you.
That's
That's
really
not
good.
at all what I actually imagine. It's way more sultry and mysterious.
Oh, we gotta start early. That sounds like
Noobs.
noobs.
Another one of my dogs. And she's like, oh, thank God. And of course, Cass is like, yeah, okay, whatever. He knows it's a ruse.
Yeah.
But Az takes her.
He does. They
And
go
he's
to
so sweet.
Well, I'm going to say this word again because I don't know what else to call them.
A clearing?
He takes her to a clearing.
Yeah, I don't know. A glen? Is that what the word that we couldn't place?
I
Anyway,
don't remember.
he's going to a place that's clear.
Did you really think I would remember that?
No, not at all. I'm surprised that I pulled it out of nowhere. I literally wrote, Az is so sweet with hearts. Because he is. This whole interaction from the get, he's just the cutest.
Yeah.
And I love him. And to start, he's like, so, you're going to need wings.
Yeah.
If you want to fly.
Yep.
And she's like, oh, yeah, shit.
Oh, God.
Sprout some wings real quick.
Yep.
Wait.
She struggles for sure.
And just registered.
She struggles, though, because the power that she has to use to summon her wings comes from Tamlin.
Yeah.
So she, like, anytime she has to use it, she's like, oh, God.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Same.
I don't want any part of me attached to that fucker.
Absolutely. That's a great power, though.
Yeah.
Like, just fucking embrace it.
Dude, I wish I could shapeshift.
Stop thinking about
Just
Tamlin
for
all the time.
funsies. Yeah.
Feyre.
Yeah, Feyre.
God.
But she gets her wings, and Az like starts telling her what adjustments to make.
Uh-huh.
And so she does that. But then he's like, "Can I touch it?"
He's like, in Illyrian custom is like you can't touch a female's wings unless you have permission. And
Yeah.
Feyre's like, oh,
I mean, sure.
go ahead.
Yeah, sure. He's like, I need to feel them to make sure they're right. And of course, she's like, it's sensitive.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Do you think it's like tickling the arch of your foot or something?
Maybe.
Or like your earlobe?
Maybe. I mean, Rhys described it as
a whisper.
in your ear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's sensitive.
I feel like Feyre described it at some point, the feeling.
She did say it felt like a whisper in her ear. I don't know about in this instance what she said, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's feeling up on them and like admiring them.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, they look just like mine. And
Yeah.
he's like very impressed. And she says it's the magic or whatever, or a good teacher. And he's like, you're an artist.
Yeah.
Like you captured the small details enough and put them into your artwork.
Yeah.
That is now wings attached to you.
Yeah.
That are fleshy.
Which kind of destroyed my theory about Feyre actually being a terrible artist.
I'm kind
And
of
everyone
upset
just
about that.
laughing at her behind her back.
We can still think that for
Yeah.
anything but her shapeshifting.
For sure.
Great.
For sure.
So anything canvas related is trash. And then she could barely lift her wings.
Yeah.
He's like, you gotta stop dragging them.
Yeah, he gives her some lessons about, like, proper wing etiquette. He's like, never let your wings drag on the ground because it shows weakness.
Yeah.
And
She struggles.
yeah, I guess that was the only lesson. I said lessons, but that was it.
Yeah, she can barely lift them. It's hurting all of her muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one. He's like, yeah, so you're gonna have to like train your abs and also your butt and also your arms and also you're gonna have to do your back. And
Yeah.
she's like, so my
So
whole
everything?
body. So he just has her in this first lesson like practice lifting her wings and like folding them, knowing that she needs to gain muscle with Kaz.
Yeah.
Kaz.
Kaz.
It's a mix of Cassian and Azriel.
Interesting ship name there.
I mean, would it be the worst?
No, absolutely not. I would be here for it. Anyways, what was I gonna say?
I'm sorry I distracted you.
It's okay.
With Kaz.
I don't remember.
We were talking about having a train, get muscly.
Oh, can you imagine how like heavy giant wings like that would be on your back?
I don't know if I can, but I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it makes sense that they would be heavy.
Yeah.
But her describing the weight of them, I'm like, I guess I didn't really think about it until
I'm trying to like think what it would feel like.
Should we get giant wings to wear around?
Can we? We gotta make sure they're weighted.
Yeah, weighted wings. We know what we're going for Halloween as the Bat Boys. Us too.
I love that, actually. Let's do it.
I'm down.
I gotta get real muscly by Halloween.
We got a deadline to get buff.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not. Absolutely not. But anyhow, after all that's said and done, Reese takes Feyre to the library in the House Wind.
He does. We forgot to mention earlier that she offered to go to the library to help Amryn like research the wall some more.
In the cauldron.
Because Amryn kept asking Cass and Az to help her, and they wouldn't.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Reese takes her to the House of the Wind, the library there, which is wild.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like humongous. It goes into the depths of the mountains. Like there's a big hole in the center that leads down into the depths of darkness in Spooky Town. And it also goes up into the mountains. And it's just like a circular spiral of shelves.
Yeah.
That's how I'm picturing it anyways.
Really want to go there.
Same. Yeah, tons of books. Just a whole bunch of books.
Books as far as the eye can see.
But also, you know what else is there? A big scary-ass creature that Cass saw one time and was scared shitless and told Reese to never go down there.
Mm-hmm. And also a bunch of priestesses.
A bunch of priestesses. Priestess.
Priestesses sounds really wrong.
It's a lot of S's.
Priestess sounds horrible.
Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Makes me think of Awkward, the television show. Television.
Okay, Grandma.
We are everywhere tonight. You're welcome. But, anyhow, let's go to the library.
Yeah.
And that's all they know about that creature. They're just like, it's kind of down there.
Yeah.
And then Clotho?
Sure.
Clotho.
I'd say Clotho, but...
Clotho feels wrong.
None of it sounds right.
Clotho.
Okay.
I don't know. Clotho just reminds me of, like, a cloth.
Oh.
Stop it. I don't know.
You can call her whatever you want to call her. I'm going to call her Clotho just to bother you.
Clothy. I don't know. Nonetheless, priestess.
Yeah, we'll just call her the priestess because she's the only one we've met so far.
Yeah, but we don't
know everyone else's names.
I guess the Amphi's not present, so she's no longer the priestess.
She's not one
of
the priestesses in the library.
Okay, shit. So the priestess.
Yeah.
Good old C.
Sea dog.
She greets them. Okay, before all that though.
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah.
Reese and Feyre talking about libraries prior to the wall. He asks about like mortal libraries and she's like, I mean, there's some.
Yeah. She's like, I've never been to one before.
Yeah. And he mentions how there were a ton of libraries in Prythian prior to the wall, but that they housed like a bunch of books with magic and etc.
Yeah.
So after the wall came up, the Fae got all weird and guarded and burned their libraries.
Yeah, like a bunch of the books were able to be winnowed out, but anyone who didn't have time to winnow them out just burned their whole library.
Just burned their libraries to the ground. Can you imagine?
No.
That is a criminal offense.
Actually against my religion.
Well, our religion is books.
Exactly.
That was just a little tidbit and probably unnecessary. But I figured I'd tell you. Clotho then takes them to all the books that she's collected about the wall. And Feyre notices that her hands are all disfigured.
Can we backtrack a little bit?
Yeah.
There is a whole conversation before Clotho comes.
Okay.
About human fae interbreeding.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I didn't take any notes on it.
I have to look up a quote really quick. Because it made me think back to Feyre's mom.
Oh,
and my theory.
Yes.
That she might be like part fae. Let me see if I can find it.
I believe in you. You just serenade him while you're looking. Just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
Please don't. It would distract me and I wouldn't be able to find my quote.
That's fair.
I don't know. Basically, Rhys says something about how all of the like human fae people who were born who are half-breeds, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Well, they did have this conversation.
They did.
They talk about the human phase, how like the half-breeds were essentially ostracized in both the mortal realm and in Prythian. Mm-hmm. Like the mortals kicked them out because they were salty about all that the fae did to them, and most of the fae thought they were like gross and lower than lesser fae.
Yeah.
And wouldn't allow them into Prythian.
Wouldn't allow them in. They were outcast.
And they really had nowhere to go.
But there was something I'm remembering, and it might be later in this, and it might come from someone else, but someone says something about how, like, there was one specific line of fae that... Never mind.
Like fae warrior?
Yeah, there was a strong warrior or something who...
I think that maybe is brought up.
I think it's later, and I feel like it's not Rhys who says anything about it.
Okay.
So, we'll talk about it later because I am certain that I have notes on it.
Okay.
And I don't
I'm
have
like,
any right
I do
here,
think
so.
I wrote it down, but they do have the half-breed conversation, I believe, now. Maybe not. Maybe later.
No, it is now.
It's now.
Yeah,
Okay.
they talk about all that.
Yeah, we learned about how...
just the one thing specifically I thought was not in that section.
Well, it'll come up, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I probably wrote about it. So anyhow, good old Sea Dog brings them to the books that she's gathered. Feyre notices her hands, and after she leaves, Rhys tells them that this library is essentially a sanctuary for like battered priestesses.
Yeah.
And Moore had found Clotho specifically and brought her and like had her healed, and anyone who comes like they can stay as long as they want. They don't ever have to leave. They could leave after a week, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And they essentially have control over the library. Like they have to give permission if somebody enters.
Yeah.
Like it's all up to them. He's essentially created this little safe cove for beaten and battered women.
Yeah. Her story was so friggin' sad.
I know. It's terrible.
It's disgusting.
It's terrible.
Basically, she was like beat by a group of men and they cut her tongue out so she can't talk.
Yeah.
And they mutilated her body, but they were healing her as they did it so that she couldn't like be repaired. And they took her tongue so that she couldn't tell anyone who did it to her.
Right. But Rhys, being who he is, was able to gather as much from her mind. And he said that they like could have potentially healed her, but they would have had to re-break every bone.
Yeah.
And
he offered to like sedate her while they did it, but she's like, nah.
Yeah. I think
Trauma.
they made it like relatively usable.
Yeah.
More so than it was, but that's as far as they went because she didn't want to like open wounds again.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. And Feyre, hearing this, knows that not only it's hers as well, not only because she's High Lady, but because it's a refuge and she feels like a broken woman, or at least used to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's a safe space for them, which is lovely.
Yeah.
She also mentions that she's happy to like be able to be under the mountain without losing her shit because
Yeah.
she's now under a different mountain. And Reese says he's so proud of her.
No.
And it was very sweet. That's the only reason I wrote it down.
Yeah. I love them.
I know, me too.
It's disgusting.
They're just developing into such a power couple.
Absolutely. yeah.
Relax.
The support they give each other.
I know. Unconditional.
Chef's
And it's lovely.
It is.
And then Reese starts teasing her.
Well, they do some research for a little bit.
For like a sec. No.
Oh, no. He
He
teases
starts
her
messing
before.
with her. Yeah.
Never mind.
He's like, I want to take you right here.
Yeah.
I want to see how quiet you can be.
Yep.
I want to, all these things. Or throw caution to the wind and just go for
Be
it.
as loud as you
And
want.
she's like, stop it.
Stop it.
And then he just winnows away.
Yeah, he's like, okay, bye.
Winnows the floor below. And she's like, what the damn hell? And he was like, you're distracting me.
Oh,
She's
I
like,
love him.
I'm distracting you? He's like, just your presence.
Yeah.
So then they separate.
And then they research.
Then they research.
For 2 whole hours.
Yeah. And come back together. And essentially...
We learn some weird shit.
Yeah.
Here. The wall was, like, never built to be permanent.
No.
Which blew my mind. It was supposed to be like we're going to separate you guys while everyone calms down, and then you can come back together and work out your differences.
Everyone go sit in their own corner.
Yeah.
Think about what you've done.
Everyone's going to time out, but eventually you'll come out and everyone will get along again.
Yes.
Didn't happen that way, obviously.
It didn't. Well, the mortals that were alive at the time of the wall's creation died.
Yeah.
So then their, offspring, etc., forgot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Fays just rebuilt and didn't want to
Made their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just started over. And so now it's been a thing forever. It's become legend.
Yep.
Reese talks a little bit about the war now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Feyre asks him if she thinks they actually have a chance
Yeah.
at winning the war.
And he's like, we don't have the troops.
Yeah.
Like, just cut
Yeah.
and dry. We need allies.
Yeah, even if the other 7 courts ally with them, it's not going to be
we're
enough.
still going to be outnumbered.
Yeah.
And so she asks him, like, do you think that you could win in a one-on-one versus the king?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I'd do it. I'd sacrifice myself for everything.
Yeah.
And she's like, fucking stop saying that, bro.
Yeah.
I do not accept that. That's not an option.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to find some other way. Rounding back to Reese trying to be lone wolf all the time.
Yeah. But, I mean, he also says, Hybern had to resort to, like, tricking them in Hybern when they went.
Yeah.
So maybe.
What do you think the king's name is? Did we ever learn, or will we? I don't remember. Does he have one?
It's King Hybern. That is his name.
His name's like Paul.
That's dumb.
Now I want to know.
Mark
the king. Anyhow, after this, Fair's all upset.
Yeah.
Stop freaking taking it on yourself, and suggests going to see the bone carver.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what do you think he'd do to go home? He kept asking me about death.
Yeah.
He must really want to get there.
Yeah.
So maybe we can lure him into a bargain.
Bargain with him.
Even though you're never supposed to make bargains, Pharaoh, and you just continually make bargains.
Well,
bargains out the wazoo.
I will say, though, I feel like making a bargain, like, when it's on your terms.
Yeah.
You're going in and you're making the deal.
Yeah.
Is different than being like, yeah, Reese, heal my arm.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
I mean, it paid off.
It did.
In the long run,
It
for
did.
sure.
I was just using that as an example.
I get it. That's true. And it's like war, They're trying to get at any sort
They're desperate.
Yeah. They're going to die if they don't gather enough of a force.
Yeah. My mouth is so dry tonight.
Is it the chili? Just kidding.
I
I
don't
don't know why
know.
that would do it.
It's all the talking.
All the talking. So then the next day, then they decide that Cassian should be the one to take Feyre to the prison.
Mm-hmm. They think that if Reese goes with her, they would look too desperate, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
You went with her before.
I know. Well, to have both, like, high lord and lady there, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
But maybe the high lady is less important. And the
Ew,
one cover's like, you're whatever.
You're just a woman.
I mean, some people in these series seem to think
It's
so.
true. It's very true.
But then Freyra, before that.
F.
Yep. F goes to check on Am and N.
Word for word.
Yeah. Feyre decides to go see how Amryn and Nesta's training's going.
Yeah. Amryn's trying to teach her how to shield.
Yeah.
Before they go to the court.
Nesta's joining them on the Hume City journey. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I want you to be, protected in some way before we go. And Amryn says, she's as stubborn as an ass, but related to you, so I'm not surprised. Or like something along those lines, which made me laugh. Yeah. I love Amryn. She's so,
I do too.
like, she's not as prevalent in most of the story. Like, she has a role. She's very much there, but, like, she's pretty in the background for a lot of this. But when she is there, it's the best. Yeah, I think she's so funny.
I love her. Feyre also tries to, like, kind of pry at Amryn for information about the prison. Yeah. But they don't want to tell her what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Amryn's like, why are you being dumb? Leave me alone. I'm busy.
Shut your mouth. Yeah, she gets brushed off real quick.
Yeah.
And then they have dinner at the townhouse.
They do.
With the Bat Boys, Feyre, and Moore. And Moore warns them to not make any bargains with Care. Mm-hmm. She's still very weary of the upcoming Hume City visit.
Yeah.
And after that, they go to bed. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's more to that scenario, but essentially that. They go to bed, and Feyre has a really terrible nightmare.
Yeah.
About Under the Mountain.
For the first time in a while.
Yeah. She dreams about her sisters taking Claire's place, being tortured. She dreams about Rhys being taken by Martha. Mm-hmm. And wakes up to Rhys with his demanding High Lord voice.
Wake up.
Breathe.
Breathe. That's right. That's right.
And he just keeps saying it, rubbing her back. She's like about to puke.
Yeah.
And he does calm her down. And she, like, vows to herself that she's never going to let her sisters and Rhys suffer like that again.
Yeah.
Good to have Rhys around. It's a better experience than Tamlin just ignoring her nightmares.
She also, like, really opens up and tells Rhys everything that's going on.
Yeah, the next morning he asks her something if she wants to talk about it.
Oh, is it the next morning?
I think so.
Okay.
There's a quote, actually, that I have written down about it.
It was in the morning. You're right.
He just asks her, do you need to talk to me or anybody? Like, he doesn't even expect her to tell him.
Yeah.
But do you need to talk about it? And I have a quote.
Okay.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I do. Just read me the whole page.
Okay. I answered him truthfully, tugging at the end of my braid. With everything bearing down on us, everything at stake, part of me that was slowly repairing... Whoa, excuse me. I don't know. I think it's torn open some part of me that was slowly repairing. He nodded, no fear or reproach in his eyes, so I told him, all of it. Stumbling over the parts that still made me ill, he only listened. And when I was done, that shakiness remained, but voicing it aloud to him, the savage grip of those terrors lightened, cleared away like dew in the sun. I freed a long breath as if blowing those fears from me, letting my body loosen in its wake. That was a good time to read a quote, apparently. But it's very, like, has now a confidant who can help her work through these fears and
and not
traumas.
Only can help her, but wants to help her.
He's very attentive and lovely and wonderful.
I need one.
But after that, Rhys winnows Cass and Feyre to the prison.
Yes.
And
Rhys tells her that, the wards are too thick in the prison and she won't be able to, like, reach him. So, tells her to be careful and they need to stick together and blah, blah, blah.
Cass, like, don't get out of my sight.
Yeah.
And they walk up and it's just as daunting as before.
Yeah.
And they, like, travel it hand in hand. Like, Cass won't let go of her hand. Mm-hmm. He's just like, you're with me, bitch. I will protect you with my life, high lady. Cassian warns of the Bone Carver's power. Is he the one who put the Bone Carver in the prison?
I believe so.
They didn't say it outright, but I felt like that was what was implied. Or
no,
did
they don't know who put the Bone Carver in the prison.
Oh, he's been there forever.
Yeah.
That's right. He's as old as dirt.
Yeah.
Or more.
We learn later who put him in the prison.
Oh.
I'll tell you about it. Don't worry.
Like, I remember more information, but anyways. Cass seems to know a lot about the Bone Carver, though.
Yeah.
And he warns of his power and mentions the old gods that were here before the High Lords and how they were real scary and spooky.
Yeah.
And the Bone Carver's one of them.
Yeah.
Which
I have
has
things to
my
talk about
brain
later.
percolating. I know, same. I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
And he also just casually throws out the Bone Carver can kill hundreds of soldiers with one breath. No big deal.
Yeah.
So that's what Fair's trying to unlock.
I want to know what that looks like. Does he just go like...
He's just like...
Or is it like a...
And they're all like, oh, shit. Fall over.
Ah, boo.
I'm dead.
Everyone yells that before they die.
That's the natural order of things, Sarah.
Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah. So it sounds really fun.
Yeah. I want to be there.
Yeah. But they eventually get to the Bone Carver cell, and it opens when Feyre touches it. So now that she's mated with good old Reese Pants, or maybe because she's also
I
High
think
Lady,
it's the High Lady thing.
she is now bound to the prison also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And
Cassian also says, I just want to add this before I forget.
yeah.
He tells Feyre that, the Bone Carver will be useful on the battlefield if they can figure out how to control him.
Yeah.
So they, need to find a way to ensure that he is
Working for them.
working for them and not just going crazy.
Out here. Murdering everyone for no good reason.
Yeah, he says specifically, we must find a way to bind him to obey us within an inch of his life.
Yeah.
So, they gotta lock that shit down.
Yeah. He can't just be out here all willy-nilly.
Can't go breathing on everyone.
That breath is stanky. Much like Feyre.
Yeah.
But they do get to a cell, and then when it opens, Feyre gives him a bone from the Ator.
Uh-huh.
That apparently was left over. She's like, we just kept it, I guess, for things like this. Like, how
Yeah.
often does that happen, guys? You just hoarding weird shit in case you need to make a deal.
Feyre realizes, too, when she sees him, who this little boy is
Yeah.
that she's seeing.
She sure does. She's like, that's Reason's face.
That is Reese's face, and that's my mouth.
My dad's
and
mouth.
My dad's mouth.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, it was hers, and it's the same difference.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
she's
that's-
seeing their child.
Their future child, if they can survive
If
the
they
war.
survive.
Yeah. That's kind of fucked up.
I know.
It's like a terrible glimpse
Yeah.
at, I mean, maybe it's motivation,
I
but
wouldn't
also,
want-
I don't think I'd want to know.
I'm like, I don't think I would want to see what my kid would look like.
No.
I want that to be
I know.
something that I watch progress
Yeah.
naturally, you know?
Same. I'm like, in the 8 months my daughter's been here, it's changed, and I'm
So
excited
much.
to see what she looks like in a year from now.
But I wouldn't want to see that now.
No, I wouldn't want spoilers.
No.
Come on. It's fun to see her. She changes all the time.
Yeah.
Which is a trip.
Maybe we're weird. Oh my god, maybe we're weird for that. I don't know.
Would you want to see your future child grown up?
Let us
Well,
know.
maybe like, I don't know how old he is, but 10? Something like that.
Something like
I wouldn't
that.
want to know.
I don't think he's that old.
Yeah.
But anyways, then
anyhow.
shit gets weird.
Yeah.
The Carver.
He gets weird.
He does. He's
He's
like,
like-
I smell my sister on you.
The Weaver.
The Weaver. And he smells her all of a sudden because Feyre's wearing the ring that she got from the Weaver's cottage.
I think he also talks about how their souls are intertwined in some way now. Like their paths in life have crossed, so they have some sort of tether to each other. I feel like he smells that on her too, but maybe it was just ring and I'm tripping.
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
I don't know.
But the ring makes a lot of sense, so I could be completely misreading it.
I know that I'm pretty sure specifically mentioned the ring,
Okay.
but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
have no idea, guys. We don't know things. We're not professionals. And then the Bone Carver. Is there more on the Weaver part? Were you looking for a quote there?
I'm not really sure.
Okay. After he sort
We
of
can talk.
mentions the Weaver to Feyre, he asks Cassian about Nesta. He starts prodding about Nesta. What'd
Yeah.
you have?
I looked only because I did have a quote written down. So the Bone Carver asks sister. tells Feyre, I smell my sister on you. Did you steal from her?
Okay.
So he specifically asks her about the ring. Or if he stole from her, and I assumed it was the ring.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. I feel like there was something else said, unless I'm making it up. It doesn't matter. The ring makes her stinky.
Oh, I didn't even friggin' look at the friggin' quote. It's fine. What were you talking about? Because I wasn't listening.
That's okay. After the bone carver mentions the sister to Feyre, and they have that back and forth, he brings up Nesta to Cassian, and he seems to know a lot about her. Bone carver just knows stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, she took something. She took something precious. And the people in Hybern are afraid of her because of that. And during all of his ranting, Cassian seems to like slip into a weird trance in hearing about all of this and thinking about Nesta.
Yeah. That is long. The quote that I had written down, which is the reason I went to that same page.
Yeah.
Is about Nesta and Cassian, but it's long, so I'm not going to read it. But yeah, that whole situation's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And how he just knows.
He just knows stuff.
Yeah. He's like, what went in is not the same thing as what came out.
Uh-huh.
And
she took something, and she's wild.
She is wild.
He's like, she's both ancient and, I don't know. Like, he describes her as this wildly... powerful, potentially. Spooky presence.
And then he just keeps saying her name.
Yeah.
Nesta. Nesta.
Nesta. Nesta. Back to the wild ass voices.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yep. And then Feyre kind of snaps him out of it. Cass seems to like snap out of the trance.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, whoa, y'all, reel it in.
Everyone settle.
And she talks about how they got the Book of Breathings, and her friend
is trying to find a spell.
In quotations. Is decoding the spells to get home. I imagine the bone carver knows exactly who they're talking about, but Amren. But they didn't want the other prisoners to hear or whatever.
Yeah.
Or the prison itself to hear.
Yeah.
Because before they went, Amren was talking about like, you can't, or maybe this is another time, but you can't talk about me there. She won't even talk about things at home because she's worried that the prison guards are going to hear or whatever. Like the rock listens.
Yeah.
It's intense.
Yeah, I would not want to go to that prison.
Nope.
No. Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to go to any prison.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But that one especially.
Yeah, it sounds really, really not cool.
Yeah.
Really uncool.
Yeah. But anyways, Feyre tells him...
Zeus is dreaming. Zeusy. Zeus! He's awake now.
Feyre tells him about the book. And he's like, I'm listening.
Yeah, tell me more.
Tell me more.
I imagine his fingers like click together.
Same.
Like,
I just imagine him, and I know that this is not what he is, but just because of his name, I just imagine a skeleton.
Yeah,
but like a really creepy skeleton.
It's just like a smiling skeleton sitting there. Like a Halloween decoration.
And the reason he asks for bones when you visit is so that he can add to himself.
He can upgrade his parts.
I'm missing that arm piece here.
I love that picture now. Even though it looks like Feyre's future child, but... but then the bone carver's like, go on. And he's like, I don't want to leave.
Yeah, he's like, this cell is where I want to be.
What makes you think I want to go?
And he says something along the lines of, like, my old home is just a speck of dust floating out there somewhere now. Like, why would I want to go back to that? It's been centuries.
Well, yeah. And then he goes on to tell this crazy story about his sister and brother.
Yeah.
The Weaver, and they didn't talk about the brother much.
Yeah.
But how they're death gods.
Yeah. And the Weaver is his twin.
Yeah. And how he essentially organized or orchestrated his imprisonment to get away from them.
Yeah. So, this is where we learn who put the bone carver in the prison. He put himself in the prison. Because he was hiding from his brother and sisters.
I mean, he did ultimately, right? But I feel like he says, I didn't let them catch me for no reason. He says that at some point. So I don't know who them is.
I think he's talking about his siblings. He didn't...
I don't know. When he went to the prison, when he's talking about how he would rather be nowhere about the cell, he says, I didn't let them catch me for no reason. So I don't know if his siblings would have imprisoned him or somebody caught him. It's just to them.
Maybe it was just the prison guards caught him.
But he essentially put himself in because he wanted to be there to get away from his death god siblings. Yeah.
And so this is where I was getting confused earlier. This is where we learn about this Fey warrior.
Oh, yeah.
So this Fey warrior tricked his siblings into being confined to their areas. So the Weaver is in the middle, and the brother is...
at a lake or something?
By a little lake on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
Koshi? Is that
Sure.
Is that how you say his name?
Sure.
And Striga?
Striga, yeah. Koshi was what, like Koschgi?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a weird name.
Yeah.
Koshi. Sure. Anyhow.
Anyways, not important. This Fey warrior is long gone. Their bloodline has diminished, but a trace of their blood still runs through some human line.
Yeah.
So, I really wonder if potentially this long ago warrior is Feyre's mother.
The warrior.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That's interesting. I mean, if it runs through human line, it's possible. But I don't know if the warrior would be her.
Or maybe not her mother, but like maybe a grandmother.
An ancestor.
Or some sort of ancestor.
That is like specific to mention. I guess it is related to that story, but to then say humans. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
I like that thought.
I specifically thought it was her mother, but now the more I think about it, the more I think it's probably someone. Because they've been gone for a while.
Yeah, they're old as fuck.
Yeah.
So he wants to stay there, but then he says that he would help them if she retrieved the Ouroboros mirror that Care has, which apparently was the Weaver's, his sister's mirror, but now Care has it?
Yeah, his sis... Sorry, I have the hiccups.
Oh, no.
His sister had a shit ton of mirrors.
Yeah.
And
just
one of them was this mirror to the world or something like that.
Yeah.
What?
It reminds me of the... You know what I'm talking about?
I think I do. Interesting!
Mm-hmm. Reminds me of the Black Beaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of interesting things in this book.
I know.
Spoiler!
Sorry.
Warning.
But he says that the Ouroboros is a window to worlds.
Thank you.
He wants it.
Yeah.
It's a window to worlds.
Does he say worlds or to the world?
I think worlds.
Okay.
I don't know. I wrote down worlds.
Okay, I wrote the world.
Okay, great.
Who knows?
It could be one or it could be many.
Which one is it?
Who is
Friends?
How many? Someone tell us. But then they leave.
I have actually a quote written down that I want to read.
Okay.
About this mirror.
Okay.
And my quote says, "A window to the world. All could be seen. All could be told through its dark surface."
Okay, so it is the world.
I mean, I still could have written it down wrong, but
well,
usually when I'm writing down quotes, I make sure I'm pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Again,
sure
that doesn't mean anything.
Mine is just a window to worlds note.
So, yeah, he says he'll help them if they can figure out how to get the mirror and figure out how to free him from the prison.
Yeah, he's like, good luck.
Yeah.
And Feyre tries to act all casual on her way out. She's like, yeah, okay, we'll see. As if she's not desperate as shit.
Yep.
She's like, oh yeah, easy money. We can get a mirror from Care. We'll just figure it out.
No big deal. We'll just ask him politely.
Yeah.
He'll listen.
Excuse me, sir, please.
Excuse me. I know we, destroyed your body last time we were here, but can we take your possessions?
No big deal. I'm cute. But then Feyre and Cassian leave. Before Rhys comes to get them, Feyre asks Cass about Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he wondered if the bone carver would know anything about what Nesta is.
Yeah.
And she asks him, like, why do you care? Or, like, why? And he just says he wants to help. I think they're alluding to the death god relation and wondering if Nesta is related to that. Like, if death is a part of her.
Yeah. I have a little quote here I want to read. So, yeah, they definitely are alluding to the fact that they think Nesta might be
death
or a death god or something.
Yeah.
So Feyre asks, would you be frightened of her if Nesta was death or if her power came from it? And Cassian says, I'm a warrior. I've walked beside death my entire life. I would be more afraid for her to have that power, but not afraid of her. Nothing about Nesta could frighten me.
I have the quote page written down, too.
It's so cute.
I know. Cass is all devoted to her.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants her to be okay.
Yeah.
And to give him a smooch.
Yeah. And a little snuggle.
A snuggle and a smooch. But then, Rhys comes and gets him. And they start to make a plan about the Court of Nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
And Cass and Az have to, like, draw straws because one of them has to stay home to guard the city.
Yeah.
And Cass loses, and he's kind of butthurt about that.
Yep.
And then Feyre goes up to see her sisters beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And Elaine is out of the room.
Yeah. I think she also wanted to check on Lucian because she's, like, feeling bad that she's just kind of dipped on him when they got there.
She never showed him Valaris like she said she would. She's just been busy, I guess, planning for war.
How dare you?
But
Be my friend. Take a minute.
Elaine's out of her room and she's in the library with Nesta.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it starts getting wild with Elaine.
Elaine gets real funky.
She gets weird, yeah. Nesta, of course, watches her warily as Feyre enters.
Of course.
And Elaine...
Feyre would totally hurt her own sister.
Yes. Elaine is looking out the window and saying some wild shit. Mm-hmm. She starts talking to Feyre.
Yeah.
About her senses.
Yeah.
She's like, I can see so far.
Yeah.
I can see the water from here.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I can hear everything.
Hear your heartbeat.
I can hear her heartbeat. Mm-hmm. I can hear everything. And
talks about some weird firebird.
Yeah, in her dreams she can hear the sea and the like rustling of the wings of a firebird.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, okay.
She's gone mad.
Feyre tries to say something like, yeah, senses are crazy.
Yeah. You'll get used to it.
You'll figure it out. But firebird, the fuck. So she pulls Nesta aside, like, we gotta talk about that shit.
Yeah.
Which at first I was like, would you not hear you guys? She just talked about hearing everything.
Right.
And I almost, like, wrote that down to talk about it. Uh-huh. And then she put up a wall.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah. Nesta, I feel like, feels like it's her fault.
Yeah.
Because she was, like, gone the day before this or something.
Yeah.
For longer than usual.
Training with Amryn.
And so she's like, what if something happened while I was gone? Mm-hmm. And that's why all of a sudden she's crazy.
BatSh. Speaking nonsense. This is like the first time Elaine's really talking too.
Yeah, this is like the first thing Elaine has said outside of, I was supposed to get married.
Yeah. She's saying more words, but she's still refusing to eat.
Yeah.
Nesta's wondering if Elaine has some power like she does. Mm-hmm. And she says that she has power. And Feyre's like, what's your fucking power, Nesta? She doesn't ask her outright, but she's thinking it.
Yeah.
So, Nesta, you have something, and you're just not talking about it.
I think she actually does ask her.
She doesn't. In her head, I think she says, like, she has a dialogue in her head while Nesta's talking. Like, well, then why don't you talk to me about it? But doesn't ask her outright because she doesn't want to, like, piss Nesta off or something. I'm pretty sure. But then Feyre asks Nesta about training again, and essentially is like, it doesn't have, she's like, why does it have to be Cassian? Can't it be anybody else? And Feyre's like, you can train with whoever you want, but like, don't you want to make the final killing blow, take out your enemies? And Nesta's like, why should I kill someone else or someone if everyone else could do it for me, basically.
Yeah. Ugh.
Nesta.
She really bothers me.
Well, she's complicated.
I don't know. I weirdly hate her less in this book than I did in the first book. Because I don't know.
I like
part of it
Nesta.
is like kind of endearing. I don't know.
Her outright hatred for everybody.
Yeah,
and
I'm like, I
everything.
kind of love that you're an asshole.
Yeah. I like Nesta, but I think I like her because of later books.
I feel like when in the first book, she didn't have a reason to be an asshole. Now she kind of has a reason to be an asshole.
That's true.
And so it's, I don't know.
A little more justified.
Yeah, it's not so like, God, why are you such an asshole? It's like, oh, you went through shit. I mean it's still not a reason
died,
to...
She lost her fortune.
Yeah, but that's not a reason to treat your sister like shit.
Well, no, but... Nah, I don't know. It was something.
I guess.
But Nesta, I don't know. I have mixed emotions about her, but I think I like her more than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But then Lucian walks in while they're, like, in their little bubble of chatting.
Mm-hmm.
And Feyre keeps her and Nesta hidden and goes into Lucian's mind to, like, watch this interaction unfold.
Yeah. And I feel like Lucian's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Like, he's really genuinely worried about Elaine.
He
and
is.
wants to take care of her and wants to do something to, like, fix her. But I don't love it.
I know. I feel like the mating bond is, like, a forced thing for Lucian now. Like, he can't control whatever he feels for Elaine now because of it, and had that not been a thing, like, he probably wouldn't even be here.
Yeah, for sure.
And she could give two shits about him, and that's just destroying him.
Yeah.
But it's like forced love, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't ask for this.
Yeah.
But now he's tormented by it.
Yeah, and he's, like, pining after this woman who is still... I mean, she's not only batshit crazy, but still pining after her human lover.
Yeah.
Who's she's supposed to marry in a couple days.
Right. She's not okay, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know her. His only interaction with her before this was at Highburn.
Yeah.
And then to just have never seen someone and look at him and be like, wow.
I love you.
We have a sacred bond.
Yeah. I would take you right here.
Lay down. Don't mind the cauldron. Were you thinking, like, take her away, or
no?
Okay.
No, we were on the same page for sure. It kept going in my head, and it's too much.
You don't want to go into detail on the podcast.
It wasn't even so much detail. I was gonna say something like, "Oh, I don't care that you're sopping wet. That's exactly how I like it."
Fitting. Never mind the creepy ass king and Nesta being thrown in the
entire
cauldron.
room of people watching.
No big deal. I can't contain it. Anyhow, that didn't happen, guys. That didn't happen.
This is not canon.
But he's starting to, like, talk to Elaine. He's shocked to see her. He's trying to get her to talk to him. He looks at her and, like, thinks about how terrible she looks. She's beautiful, obviously, but looks very...
She's, like, gaunt
and hollow.
In bad shape.
He feels the pull of the mating bond around her, and she asks him who he is, and he says he's Lucian, the son of the Autumn Court, and she's like, you betrayed us. And he apologizes, but he, like, realizes that she has no need or want or desire for him in any way, shape, or form.
Elaine also tells him in this moment, though, that she can hear his heartbeat at night through the stones.
That's a lot.
I'm like,
that would drive me insane, too.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what else is going on with Elaine, if I was hearing fucking heartbeats of other people through stone walls, I would probably lose my mind.
Same.
Or being able to hear the sea that's, like, miles away.
Yeah.
I don't want that kind of hearing or senses.
No.
It's too much.
No,
I'm already overstimulated by my own hearing.
Same.
But Feyre sort of decides that he seems to have good intentions. Like, she's not worried about him so much. And then decides to move all three of them into the townhouse.
Yeah. Lucian tells her that Elaine needs air. He's
Yeah.
like, you got to get her out of this place.
You gotta do something.
And so she's like, all right, well, we'll go down
Everyone,
here where
come on, immediately.
everyone can access outside easily.
Yeah. Instead of just being on the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
But it sounds like...
If I were to go outside, though, I would want to be on top of a mountain.
Hey, fair. Same.
Come on.
And it seems like the House of Wind has these entire walls that are open.
Right.
Like, you could just fall out of them. Probably not. There's magic. But, like...
Maybe that's why
You
she
can
wants
air.
to take Elaine away from it. She doesn't want Elaine to...
fall out
Take a
of
dive.
the wall. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, she is losing her
Yeah,
mind. So.
she's worrisome. And Reese flies Nesta down, and I thought this was funny because Nesta was all fucking angry when they land. Because Nesta said something like, "You're flying slow intentionally," and he said, "Go faster," and he's like, "So I went faster." But she's like hurling her guts.
Yeah,
out.
she's puking in the bathroom. She
And,
comes out and everyone's like, oh shit, we're not listening.
yeah. And she starts like charging at Reese.
Uh-huh.
With her eyes are like ablaze with fire, but it's not like red fire. They're like black and scary.
Yes, I have a quote about this.
And also at this time, Az had taken Elaine out to the garden.
Yeah.
So Az and Elaine are hanging out. Which I love that pairing.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Nesta's, this is on page 255. Nesta's face was still greenish pale, but her eyes burned. Her eyes remained the same blue-gray as my own, and yet molten ore was all I could think of. Quicksilver set aflame. Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Indeed.
Oh my god.
But anyhow. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. If you're watching the YouTube video, you'll understand why we're idiots.
I never realized that before.
But anyways, after that all goes down, I think Lucian talks about, he asks like, "What are you?" to Nesta.
Uh-huh.
And then it goes on to tell Feyre and Rhys that he's like, they ask him about his firepower because Autumn Court is fire.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's nothing like I've ever seen before." And they think it's death. They say that they think it's death. But then Feyre and Rhys are getting ready.
Well, Nesta also says, Lucian asks her, "What are you?"
Yeah.
And Nesta says, "I made it give something back."
Oh, yeah.
And then she's like, "I'm going to go to my room now."
I'm
like, okay, ominous. What?
Yep. Yeah. So she knows what happened. She just won't.
She doesn't want to tell anyone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, Nesta.
Yeah.
It could be helpful, just saying. But then Feyre and Rhys are getting ready to go to the Hewn City. And Feyre is feeling guilty about having gone in Lucian's mind.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, then don't do it again."
Yeah, basically. He's like, I feel that same guilt every time I do it.
And he's like, "Was it worth it?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I mean, I think it was good to do.
Yeah.
To, like, make sure we could trust Lucian. But I still feel like a shitbag." And he's like, "Well, then don't do it again." And then she's looking out the window at Az and Elaine together.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, why couldn't he have been her mate?
Yeah.
Like, she asks him about mating some.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she asks, like, how the mating bond works. Who picks?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Rhys is like, well, it's Cauldron.
Yeah.
This fucking Cauldron.
It's got too much power.
I am tired of this Cauldron.
Already. Yeah. And that sometimes, like, the mating doesn't work out. And he says it's more about, like, producing offspring, like, quality offspring generally, than it is about this deep soul bond.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says that, like, either person could reject the mating bond.
But more often than not, the women do.
It's the women, and then the men lose their minds.
Yeah.
And, like,
yeah.
try to take them anyways.
Yeah. He's like, but we won't allow that. So
Yeah.
if ever shit got out of hand, like, we wouldn't let Lucian take Elaine.
Yeah.
And then Feyre is dressed to the nines. Mm-hmm. And Rhys puts a crown on her that matches his. It's like the feminine version of the raven, the black raven feathers. Mm-hmm. And she says, "Lord and Lady of Night." I can just imagine it in my head.
I know.
All of the fan art I've seen.
I know.
It's in there right now.
Make it real, please.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's hot. I love that for them. And for Feyre. And then
I have a description of Nesta's dress, too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I want to read it, though.
It's like floor-length black.
A dress of impenetrable black flowed to the dark marble floors of the throne room of the hewn city, tight through the bodice and sleeves, its neckline skimming the base of her pale throat.
So it's like modest and demanding.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Gorgeous bitch.
No Feyre.
Rude. Yeah, they keep describing Nesta to be just absolutely stunning.
Yeah. But
anyway, they
go.
go.
They go to the human city. And they walk into the friggin' throne room. Mm-hmm. And Feyre's like, there's only one throne.
Yeah.
There's two of us. What are we going to do? Oh, no.
It was planned.
It was.
Rhys puts her on the throne.
Yeah.
And just lounges on the arm of it.
Yep.
And is like,
and everyone's
bow.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, my God.
What the dang heck? She was just your plaything last time.
What the dang heck?
But he makes him bow for her, and they kind of do it hesitantly. Mm-hmm. And then people in the crowd start, like, reaching out their powers to see if Feyre's got anything going on.
3 people specifically.
Yeah.
Tendrils of power.
Yeah.
But it says that, like, they won't come any closer than, like, up the first step, because they don't want to offend Rhys.
Yeah.
But then something happens.
They start getting closer.
And Feyre scrapes her talons down their powers.
And then, like, squashes them.
Yeah.
She, like, steps on them with her power talons.
Yeah.
Talon darkness.
And one of the people passes out.
Yeah.
One of them winnows away. And the other one is just trembling against someone else in the crowd. Like, oh, God.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Yeah. And Feyre marks their faces.
Uh-huh.
She, like, remembers. She Why
did that go on for so long?
I don't know. I'm losing it. She will remember is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Amidst all that. And then Amryn and Nesta, like, head out.
Yeah.
They're going to look for magic items to do magic stuff, too.
Yes.
And Cassmore and Nesta are, like, surrounding... No, it has to be Az, because Cass is back at home. I wrote Cass, but I'm pretty sure it's Az. More Nesta are surrounding Feyre and Rhys, like, around the days. And then Rhys calls Care to the council room. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they sit down, Care's like...
He's like, I know where you guys are.
I know what you need.
I know about Hybern.
You dumb hoes.
You idiots.
I'm pissed, because you broke my fingers. And my arm.
And everything else. And my other arm.
And I'm still messed up. I can barely use them.
And he tells them that he's, sympathetic to Hybern's cause.
He does. Yeah.
He's like, why should I help you guys?
He's like, we're kind of one and the same.
You are doing the exact same thing to me.
You're keeping me under this mountain.
Yep.
Just as they're kept on their island.
He's like, none of this is actually mine with your palace atop.
Uh-huh. And Rhys is
like,
you
want
can
it?
Have it. Yeah, go for it. And then Care's like, that's not enough. And he starts suggesting, like, Feyre's payment.
Yeah. Which is icky.
I know. It's gross. Which,
again,
of course, pisses Rhys off.
The friggin'... it's disgusting. The way women are treated in this friggin' book.
I know.
It's just...
It's gross.
Disgusting.
But also, Feyre's a baddie.
Yeah. She can handle her own.
SJM does a good job of, like, giving you a strong female lead.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's gross.
Yeah.
For sure. All these stupid old men and their rules.
Yeah.
Weird. Not at all like our world.
No.
But then Rhys brings Eris in. Of all people. Freaking
like,
Eris.
Bring him in.
Bring him on in. Freaking Eris.
Why?
Yeah.
When this happened, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
I was sitting on my couch, and I was like, excuse me?
Like Goose. Yeah, I don't know. It's messed up. It seems like Az is the only one who's unsurprised.
Yeah,
And Moore is
the fact that
destroyed.
he didn't tell Moore.
I know.
I'm like, buddy.
I know.
Of all the people you should have told,
You should have warned her.
it was her.
I know. And they do have this conversation later, but he went about it the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
No amount of explaining would make me change my mind that he should have told her.
Yeah.
This is the one time
I know
I will ever be mad at Daddy Reese.
Moore is so I will hold this grudge, but only this one. At good old Daddy Reese. It was a bad move on Reese's part, that's for sure. And Eris's whole purpose here is because Care wants alliances with the Autumn Court.
Yeah.
And so Reese is trying to use that as a bargaining chip.
After the whole thing with Moore.
I know why.
And Autumn Court.
Well, it's just.
I'm like.
Care hates his daughter.
Yeah. He
wants
likes to see her suffer.
Yeah, he wants to hurt her.
It's disgusting.
It is very gross. And Care still says it's not enough. He wants access to Valaris.
Yep. He wants space and wants his people to be free of the mountain.
Yep. And Reese gives it to him.
Yep.
With conditions.
Moore is horrified.
Horrified. And rightfully so.
Yeah.
She's like, they're going to freaking destroy the city.
Yeah, and in this moment, like, Feyre sees Care, whatever, looking at Moore and, like, with a gross smile on his face, and she realizes, like, he's only doing this to hurt her.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually want anything to do with Valaris. He wants to hurt Moore.
Yeah. Yeah. It just paints a really nice picture of the hewn city.
Rage.
And then Feyre asks for the Ouroboros.
Yeah.
She just decides to ask him outright.
She's got some balls.
I know.
She's just like, hey, can I have this mirror that you have? And he's like, yeah, if you can figure out how to take it.
Yeah, he's like, consider it my mating gift.
Yeah.
If you can take it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what the hell does that mean?
What do you mean?
And he basically tells her that anyone who's looked in it has gone insane.
Yeah.
Or, like, run in fear. And you have to look into it to get it. You gotta, you can't just avoid it. You gotta look in, see what's good, and not lose your damn mind.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, shoot. I'm not trying to risk that right now. I can't be losing my mind. Elaine's already insane. But I was just saying words.
I was gonna read the quote about the Ouroboros, but you already kind of covered it all.
Oh, snap. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I need to just type my quotes because it's much faster.
Yeah, that's fair. It's hard searching. But then Care leaves.
Feyre asks Reese how this... Or Reese and Eris, I guess, because Eris is still there, isn't he?
Uh-huh.
How this arrangement came to be.
Yeah.
And stop it.
I'm sorry.
Rally.
I'm trying.
Eris basically says that he knew Asriel would come snooping around to figure out if Eris told his father about Feyre's powers.
Especially after Eris realized his brother's minds were wiped.
Yeah.
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 They forgot everything to do with Miss Feyre.
Yep.
And then Eris caught Az.
Eris also says, like, oh, I learned about Daemati and...
Yeah.
I didn't bother to teach my brothers.
Yeah. He's all in it for himself.
Yeah.
He always has been.
100%.
But, yeah, he had shielded himself and then ended up finding Az. Mm-hmm. He also had not told his father.
Yeah.
About Feyre's power.
Because he knows that his father would just automatically jump to killing Feyre.
Right.
And he knows that Feyre might be the key to winning the war.
Yeah.
And
he wants Reese to back him.
I mean, yeah.
In taking the throne. But yeah, you're right. Feyre is some sort of crazy conglomeration of High Lords, so she's probably important.
Yeah.
Eris realizes it. He also mentions sort of the past with Lucien, having when he left the Autumn Court, and Eris wasn't there when all that went down.
Yeah.
When Lucien and Tamlin killed Lucien's brothers.
Yeah, he refused.
Eris wasn't there. He refused. He actually gave Tamlin a heads up that Lucien was on his way. Like, he tried to help Lucien. And
yeah, and he seems like a little bit remorseful about what he did to Moore.
Yeah.
And says that like they have no idea what he was forced to do. So
Yeah.
it was like it wasn't his choice to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think he outright says, like, of all of the mistakes I've made in my life, I regret that one most. Like, there's something there that he won't tell them right then and there anyway.
Well, he says, now that we're allies, you know, maybe one day you'll let me tell you about it. And Moore is like, I don't want to hear anything about it.
Fair.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either, sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Moore's hurt. Moore's so hurt.
I don't blame her.
I know. After this meeting, they go back to the townhouse.
She kind of breaks down. She's crying.
She's crying. Poor Moore.
You know, I want to hug her.
I know. And everyone's mad at Reese, I mean.
And Az. Because Az.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Moore is especially hurt
by Az.
Yeah.
Because they're so close. And Az seems to be pining after Moore for the last million years.
Yeah.
But essentially, Reese and Az are like, we need Cares Alliance. Like, we had to do what we had to do. We couldn't tell you because we knew you'd try to stop us. And Amryn comes in between them and essentially is like, Moore, you know that it had to happen. Like, you need to relax. It sucks. It's bullshit. I'll help you kill him if you want to one of these days after we win the war.
Yeah.
But it had to happen. And then she turns to Reese and she was like, that was shitty.
Yeah.
Like, that was a really terrible way to do things.
Yeah.
And you need to not do that again.
Yeah. She, like, calls him a sneaky bastard. And it's like, you went about this the wrong way.
Yeah. And I'm like, yes, Amryn.
You did what you had to do, but you did it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And before she does that, she's like, I've held this court together for 49 years and we're not falling apart now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is very true. Like, they can't start losing their shit internally or else they're never going to win this.
Yeah. Moore also basically says that she's not really upset about Eris. She's more upset that Reese is letting Care into Valaris.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't really care about Eris anymore.
Yeah. But she also brings up, like, what if I had made a deal with Amarantha?
Yeah.
Like, how would you have felt about that?
Yeah.
And Reese plays it off like, I would have done it to save my people.
Yeah. If she would have gave us a fighting chance in the war, I would have done anything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been pissed that she forced me to bed her for the last 50 years.
Yeah. Which is very much like an egotistical response. Because, like, later on, he's like, that's not true.
Yeah.
But Cassian brings up the mirror to Feyre in all of this. After everyone settles the fuck down, he's like, hey, so what about that mirror, though? And
Amryn's like, excuse me?
Yeah, Ouroboros? You're talking about the Ouroboros, right? Yeah, what's that about?
Why did you go to the prison? You went, didn't you?
Yep. And Reese then, like, demands that Amryn tell them how she escaped the prison. It's not just like an ask. He's like ordering her to tell them.
Yeah.
And that's when she's like, the rocks will hear me.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna get back to the prison somehow, some way. So he puts a shield over them.
I think it's Feyre, actually, throws up a shield.
Yeah.
And she
either
says, way. No one will hear you here.
Yeah. And
this
Amryn,
is wild.
I know. Amryn is something wild.
She is.
She's old as shit. And
she basically tells them that she had to trick the prison by making herself
mortal,
a different person than she is.
Yeah, and she says, like, mortal by my standards of immortality or something. Like, so Fae is obviously immortal, but they're more immortal.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how that works?
I don't know. Maybe they can't die.
They can't be killed.
Because immortals, I mean, the Fae can still be killed.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe they can't die.
Amryn's species can't die at all.
I don't know. But she talks about how they don't have feelings. Like, they know, like, loyalty and that kind of thing, but really they don't feel any way. They have no remorse. They have no guilt or, like, regrets. And while reading this, picture just, like, a cloud.
Same.
Like a vapor cloud.
Same.
Just, that's conscious.
She's just, like,
floating
mist.
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Amryn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And she talks about how she was different than all of her kind.
Like,
or at least all the people close to her.
She was, like, too curious.
Yeah, too curious, too
questioning.
Yeah, she wanted to know more, which was not, like, an innate reaction or response from her species.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to feel.
Yeah.
I feel like
They're not supposed to
curiosity is a
care.
feeling,
Right.
you know?
Or to want to know more. Their whole goal was like pillage and plunder. It sounded like they were just out destroying things from the ground up.
Yeah.
And there was a rip in the sky, and she went to the rip while everyone else was like, "No, I'm good."
Everyone else ran away from it.
She's like,
Everyone's
curious.
like, "Oh God!" And she's like,
A rip.
Let me see.
What is in there?
That's exactly how I pictured this.
Woo! Yeah, and ends up in Prithian because of that.
Yeah.
That's the rip. Why'd she end up there? Now I want to know more about that, which also messes me up about other like related things. Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyhow, she ends up in this world, clearly.
Yes.
And was imprisoned. And
they ask her what would happen if she's like unbound from the body that she's in.
I have a quote about this.
Okay.
If you want me to read it.
Sure.
Because I thought it was crazy.
But she asked them they ask her what would happen if she was unbound from her body.
Yes.
And she says she wouldn't remember any of them.
Yeah.
And that like
My
everything
quote.
that she is would stop being.
That's basically the quote, but
Oh, sorry.
no, that's okay. Yeah, Reese asks, "Can you be unbound?" And she says, "Not by me. What would happen if you were? I would not remember you. I would not care for any of you. I would either smite you or abandon you. What I feel now, it would be foreign to me. It would hold no sway. Everything I am, this body, it would cease to be." And then Nesta asks, "What were you?" And she says, "A messenger and soldier assassin for a wrathful god who ruled a young world." Which gives me vibes.
Yeah. Same.
Of like, anyhow.
Yeah.
So,
I actually,
yeah.
interesting.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Can you put a star by that so we can talk about it later?
Yeah.
Because we'll both forget.
Yeah, I know. I wrote down that because of my thoughts.
Yeah.
But anyway, I started. And then while this is going down,
Yeah.
Elaine comes down
Yeah.
and is like shook because she couldn't hear any of them because of the wall.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh shit, I thought it was..."
There's people here.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and they dropped the wall real fast.
Oh, real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry. We
No.
find out that basically to get the Carver out of the prison, they got to bind him to a Fae body.
A person. Yeah.
And they're all like, well, that's never going to fucking happen. He won't agree to that.
No, he won't.
So.
And who would want to give their body to him?
Seriously. Yeah, and
He's
that makes
creepy as
me
shit.
want to know whose body did Amryn take?
That's a great
and
question.
how did she get it
Yeah.
from inside of the prison?
Right.
Was she having visitors in the prison?
Yeah, who's just like knocking on Amryn's door in the prison, like, hey, weird, misty, scary cloud. I want to say hi. I got your gift.
You want my body?
Hi. You can have it if you want.
Hi.
Yeah, no,
Anyways.
that's a great question. But yeah, Elaine comes down.
Elaine walks in.
And she's starting being weird as shit again.
Uh-huh.
She says,
Common theme.
"I hear her crying." And everyone's like, who? What? Everything, and she goes on and keeps talking. She says, "Everyone thinks she's dead, but she's not. Only different, changed as I was. It was so angry that something was taken as punishment."
Uh-huh.
Which, like, they act like they don't know what she's talking about. Do you not know what she's talking about? It seems very obvious to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so we're talking about the cauldron, for sure.
Yeah.
And definitely maybe the queen.
Yeah.
But they're all like, "What?"
So I have a quote I want to read too.
Okay.
Asriel then asks her, "What did you see?" And she says, "I saw young hands wither with age. I saw a box of black stone. I saw a feather of fire land on snow and melt it. It was angry. It was so angry that something was taken, so it took something from them as punishment."
Yeah. Interesting. And why don't all of them take stock in that? I feel like Az is the only one who's like actually thinking she might be saying something, and everyone else is just like, "You're fucking nuts."
I mean,
And,
she's clearly talking about the
stuff
cauldron.
that seems legit, guys.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
Unless they're like,
we all know that Nesta took something from the cauldron.
Yeah. Unless
the cauldron's
she's
pissed.
They're thinking that she's just scarred from the cauldron experience and making shit up.
PTSD.
But I'm like, y'all, it's right in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. It's a lot. And then after that, I think Elaine goes back to bed or something.
Yeah.
And Feyre asks Nesta about the training that she's been doing with Amryn, and what happened while they were at the Court of Nightmares.
Yeah.
And Nesta's just like, it's training exercise. Amryn wants me to, like, find weaknesses in magic that are designed to repel intruders.
Uh-huh.
And then they talk a little bit about what to do with Elaine.
Yeah, she says... Feyre asks her how it went in the city, and Nesta says that Amryn brought her to a room full of treasure, and then says some of them wanted to hurt us. I'm like, that's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. Magicked things.
And then she, says, like, it was an exercise in repelling intruders, and Feyre's like, oh, and fixing things, and Nessa's like, no, that's a whole different thing.
Right.
And Feyre's like, oh, so it sounds like it went good then. And Nessa's like, actually, I failed every time, bitch.
Yeah. Let's not fucking talk about it anymore. Yeah. And then Lucian suggests that they bring in a healer for Elaine.
God, I want to talk about everything, but there's not time. There's so many little things that I'm like, oh!
I know. Yeah, there's a lot that they go through.
Actually, I don't feel like this is a little thing. I want to talk about it.
Okay.
So... Feyre... What did I do? Hang on.
Before they talk about Elaine?
Yeah. They talk a little bit... Is this what you just said? They talk about Elaine.
Yes.
And Feyre asks Nesta...
They're trying to decide, like, what to do with Elaine.
Yeah, and they're talking about how they both basically think she's insane.
Yeah. Like, she's lost her mind.
She's lost her mind.
And
Nesta says something about, like, maybe the cost of her... everything has a cost, and maybe the cost of her immortality was her sanity.
Yeah.
And then Feyre asks Nesta, what was your cost?
Yeah.
And Nesta just doesn't say anything.
Yeah. Nesta's
like, interesting.
keeping secrets. Well, I mean, it's clear Nesta knows a lot more about what happened than she's willing to let on.
Not giving it any
She's
info.
mentioned that she's has powers. Mm-hmm. She's mentioned that she took something from the cauldron, but she just won't help them. Yeah. And I'm like, Nesta, in all this, they're fighting against the guy with the cauldron. Do you not want to give them as much info as possible? Right. Or are you just wanting to die?
Why don't you want to help them?
Yeah, bitch.
Come on. Anyway,
sorry. No, that's okay. Lucian then comes in and he's like, you should bring in a healer. Like, get her checked out. Yeah. She needs some help. And then while that conversation's going on, Rhys and Cass are, like, off talking or something. And he comes back later, super regretful about what happened with Eris. And Feyre, when he comes in, says that she feels heavy again. And Rhys goes on to say, the whole thing about Amarantha was a bluff. Like, I definitely would have murdered her, no questions.
Yeah, no hesitation.
Yeah, at first sight. And then he, of course, would sacrifice himself to avoid hurting others. Yeah. The same old story.
Yeah, Feyre asks him, like, why are you so willing to take all of this on yourself? And he says something about, more crying is the reason that he is willing to do that. Because he doesn't want to see his family hurt.
Yeah. And she asks about the Ouroboros, and he says he's not willing to risk that yet. Yeah. So they don't want to look in it yet. That feels like a last-ditch effort right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't afford to lose any of them to sanity, insanity.
They don't got the time for that. Yeah. They need everybody on their game.
We already got one insane person around here.
Elaine is a hot mess, or is she? And then the next day, Feyre is training with Cass in the Naz. She's going through her routine. Cassian super sweet. I put a heart next to that. Yeah. I'm not sure what happens here, but apparently he's sweet.
Okay. I believe it.
I think he, is talking about the situation with Rhys and
Yeah, he basically asks Feyre if she wants, like, intense training or mild training.
Oh, that's why I put
And they
down
have
that
this whole
he's sweet.
conversation about how
She...
they both use training and, you know, like, strength as
Yeah.
an outlet for all of the stress that they're going through
Right.
right now and the pain and heartache.
Yeah. And I think Feyre says something like nobody gives Cass enough credit for, like, being able to read people
Yeah.
and, you know, put his best forward for them.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I mean, I guess he has to help soldiers who are losing their minds, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's why he's sweet.
Yeah.
In her lessons with Ash, she finds out that he hasn't talked to Moore yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she gets back to the townhouse, Moore's in the kitchen.
Moore's in the kitchen. And she's got some letters.
She's got some letters.
3 of them.
3.
So we learned that Helion. That
Sure.
sounds right.
Okay.
Helion's gonna come to the meeting.
Helium.
Helium.
You think it's I was gonna say, do you think his voice sounds like he inhaled a bunch of helium? Anyway,
he's gonna come.
Yep.
Thesson.
How's it spelled?
I don't know if I spelled it right, but I have F TH.
F. TH.
Oh, that was dumb. Thesan. But I feel like there's an I in there. Thesan?
I don't know. Thesson.
The
Sand.
The Sand.
Anyhow.
He'll come.
Which one's he?
I don't remember.
I wrote down the 3 courts.
Oh, cool.
Dawn, Day, and Winter. Winter's Callias.
Yeah, so that's got to be Day then. Dawn is Helion.
Helium. And Day must be the song.
Thesson. Thesson's gonna come, but only if they pick a truly neutral location.
Yep.
And then Callias will come, but he's bringing armed guards.
Great.
And then there's no replies from spring, autumn, or summer.
Yep. Naturally.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 that make sense.
Yeah.
To have not replied.
Spring, come on.
Yeah, really.
And summer, I mean,
yeah,
blood rubies.
Come on. They want to murder him. And then Moore talks about how she understands why Reese and Az did what they did, and essentially ends it with, like, if I let all of the males get to me, they win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the males like Eris. If I let them get to me, they win.
Yeah.
And then the healer comes for Elaine and finds nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Nothing's
nothing.
wrong with her.
But she does say that she can't get into her mind because she's cauldron made, and it's blocked because of that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It is very interesting.
Why is that?
I don't know.
It's just darkness.
I guess.
I don't know. But she
Maybe
does...
It's like a... I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, is it... I don't know.
I wonder if Reese could do it.
Well, she tells Feyre, I suggest you don't try.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
I don't know either.
Maybe they're still tied to the cauldron in some way.
I'm like, I wonder if Feyre or Reese tried to break into her mind if the cauldron would find them
about something.
I mean, they know where they are.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
But maybe they'd get information.
Maybe. Maybe they could see through Elaine's eyes and start being spies.
Maybe.
The cauldron.
Wouldn't they be able to do that anyways, though?
Well, maybe.
Theories!
But then the healer suggests that Lucian should try because the mating bond is a bridge to the soul.
Yeah. Yeah, she says, I don't think specifically, like, he should try to get into her mind, but he should spend time with her and try to, like, feel through the bond.
If there's anything weird going on.
Yeah.
So then there's a really awkward ass tea.
Yeah.
With Lucian and Elaine. Mm-hmm. And Nesta and Feyre are just, like, sitting to the side. Spying. Yeah. Pretending to be nonchalant.
Yeah.
While Lucian is like, hey. And Elaine doesn't say anything.
I'm Lou. I'm Lulu.
Yeah, it's all very weird.
Yeah, very awkward.
And Reese and Reese and Cassian walking up at one point, and Feyre's like looking out the window and signals them to not come in, and is like talking to Rhys through the bond. Like, you don't want to come in here. Get out of here.
away.
Get out of here. But he does tell her that Cressida sent word that Tarquin is thinking about coming to the High Lord meeting.
Which I'm like, okay.
Interesting. Also, why from Cressida? Tarquin can't stoop low enough to talk to you himself?
Well, no.
Fucker.
He probably doesn't want them to know in case he decides not to come.
Yeah.
Why would he reach out and be like, I'll consider it. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Can I get back to you?
So maybe she's just trying to help out, because we know later on Varian also is in contact and helping them. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe the prince and princess or whatever they are like...
They are that.
Thank you. Maybe they're like, snap the fuck out of it, Tarquin. Like, these people are our allies. Come on.
That, maybe. And they had their reasons. They had to have for stealing. Anyways, Tarquin might come.
Yeah.
And then Lucian, like, tugs on the bond a little and freaks Elaine right the fuck out. She says, what the heck was that? And he's like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, Amren, like, snaps at Nesta, because I thought Feyre and Nesta were together, but they're not. Nesta is training still with Amren.
She's with Moore. Feyre's with Moore. I remember now.
Okay.
Everyone is around.
Yeah,
anyhow.
They're all there. But Amren snaps at Nesta to focus, because she's focusing on Elaine, and that's when when Elaine jumps. So it, like, makes it seem like Nesta scared her.
Yeah.
But then she's like, what was that? And Lucian's like, sorry.
Sorry about that.
I was tugging on the bond.
Yeah, just a little tuggy tug.
And Elaine says, I felt like you were pulling on a rib.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird.
That's a weird thing to say.
It's gotta be a weird
sensation. For sure. No thanks.
Why the rib?
Yeah, that's specific.
Wouldn't it be like a brain tug, I feel like?
Or like heart. Mm-hmm. Or like bits.
A bit tug.
Yeah, I don't know. That's strange.
Quit pulling on my nipple.
That's got to be it.
Anyways,
that's Lucian, what Asham meant to write.
Yeah. Lucian apologizes. Elaine leaves.
Yeah.
Oh no, Elaine doesn't leave. She looks at Nesta and says, twin ravens are coming. One black, one white.
Yeah, and when they ask her...
And then she leaves.
Well, and when they ask her what that's about, I think they ask her or something, and she goes, sunshine, and then leaves.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they ask her... Someone asks her what she needs, and she says sunshine.
Oh, yeah.
She needs sunshine. So Az takes her outside.
All right, got it.
Yeah.
So it's less cryptic than
or
just
someone.
Sunshine.
Twin ravens are coming, sunshine.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, no.
But yeah, Az takes her out. And then, after all this is said and done, Feyre's learning how to fly with Az. Or keeps trying.
Yeah, she's still training.
She's trying. And
researching the mirror.
Yeah, and she's flying into trees.
Oh, yeah.
During her training.
Yeah,
and
she kind of sucks at flying.
She does. And Az tells her a wild story.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her about how, like, Miriam and Dracon, when they were taking their people out, they parted the seas. Mm-hmm. Very godly of them. And to get all their people through. And they lost track of Miriam and all of this. And they
just forgot where she was.
Yeah.
On the battlefield.
Or something. And there was a seraphim.
Yeah.
Drop out. She couldn't make it. Nefel.
Uh-huh.
She, like, wasn't built to be one of their warriors, flying warriors.
Yeah.
And they're, like,
wings
feathered.
Were too small.
Feathered. They're different than Illyrians.
Yeah.
But anyway, Nefel was too small. She was, like, her wings were kind of misshapen.
Her wings were too small and deformed. One of them was deformed.
Yeah. And the whole point of the story was that Nefel ended up rescuing Miriam against all odds.
And the only reason she was able to save Miriam is because her wings were so small. Like, she was able to fit through rocks or something that a normal, whatever they're called, Seraphim wouldn't have been able to fit through.
Yes. There's a quote on page 309 about this. Az says she made it. Suffice to say her lover made Nefel her wife that night in Miriam. Well, she is alive today because of Nefel. Rhys told me the story when he returned, and since then we have privately adapted the Nefel philosophy with our own armies. We, Rhys, Cass, and I, will occasionally remind each other that what we think to be our greatest weakness can sometimes be our greatest strength, and that the most unlikely person can alter the course of history. And the reason he told her his story was because when he was learning how to fly, it was really hard for him.
Yeah.
And Rhys, like, brought that back to motivate him.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave it to her as a gift. And...
Quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Feyre is like, cool,
Training
I'll keep
hard.
trying then.
Yeah, training hard. And after all these training sessions, she gets back home and she's fucked up.
Yeah, she
is destroyed. And
done
her
for.
wings are out because As is like, I just cannot stop.
You sounded like you glitched.
I did. I have been. The Matrix. Something's wrong. But
it's your root life. Are you okay?
I'm not sure. As has her keep her wings out to like make sure the muscles stay.
Yeah, her muscles have to heal or reform before she can
Okay.
put
Nonetheless,
them away.
Why?
I'm
What is that?
confused.
Anyway, they're out.
What is the good of shape-shifting if I can't just like
Pop them in and out all willy-nilly?
Yeah.
I mean, she can after I don't know.
dumb.
She had to make all sorts of alterations to the base shape, so maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
It's not
The
important.
only reason that I'm talking about them being out is because of what happens next. She gets back and she's all messed up, and Rhys like draws her a bath and gives her a saucy, spicy massage before they go to bed, which includes her wings.
I just want to apologize. My mouth just made the weirdest noise. Sorry, listeners.
Sorry. We didn't mean it. Yeah, he is fondling those wings.
Yeah.
So she now knows what it feels like to get fondled in the wing department.
Yes, she does.
And, you know, he helps her out.
Yep.
And then
makes her feel real good.
And then he's like, go to bed. You're
Yep.
fucking tired. And she's like, I really want more of this. Like, I want more time alone with you.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I want more days.
There will be more. Will there be, Reese? Will there be?
Yes, there will be.
Any
The next day,
yep,
Feyre skips both of her trainings because she is wrecked. She's so sore.
Destroyed.
And
she plans to...
She's supposed to show Nesta the library.
Yeah, she sent Lucian to go to the city to look at the city libraries.
Yeah.
But she's going to take Nesta to the House of Wind.
Yes.
Because Nesta can just know
Sense
stuff.
when she knows the right information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was confused by all that. And it was just casually mentioned. But not before them going. It was like during.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
Great.
I don't know.
Anyhow.
But Feyre asked Cassian to fly her up because she obviously can't.
Yeah, she's wrecked.
So Elaine's here for some reason. I don't know. And she says to Cassian, he snapped your wings, broke your bones. And Cassian says, it'll take more than that to kill me. And Elaine looks at him and says, no, it won't.
Yeah, what's that
And
about?
then just like, that's the end of that.
Yeah, just leaves. I know.
Excuse me?
I wrote that down too because I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Cass is not dying. Lady.
You can't just say that and then walk away.
No, she's cryptic as shit. She's dropping some weird stuff, and everyone's like, dude, you're wild. But anyway, they go. Feyre and Nesta go to the library.
Okay, yes, and at this point, Feyre asks Nesta how she knows what she's looking for, and Nesta tells her, well, Amber just told me to, like, look and see if the information clicks.
Yeah.
Like, that's all.
Yeah.
If it clicks, then
cool.
Then I know.
Yeah. She's like, I just do. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great. Thanks for that context, Nesta. You really painted a picture for us. Yeah. But they are going through the library, and Nesta notices Feyre's difficulty, like, sounding out titles, and they talk a little bit about that. And Nesta's like, why didn't you ever ask us for help?
Yeah.
And
she says they didn't realize that Feyre actually couldn't read.
Yeah. And
Bitches.
Feyre's like, well, you're too busy. And she's about to ask Nesta why she always put everyone else, or Elaine above everyone else, and gets cut off. when 2 hybrid males appear.
Yeah.
They arrive before she can answer. One of them light, and one of them dark-haired.
And they have the hybrid coat of arms.
Yep. And they call themselves the King's Ravens. The Ravens. I wonder where we heard that.
And they've come to take Nesta back.
Yeah.
Is what they say.
They throw some Faebane at them, too, so they don't have their powers.
Yeah.
Which is really lovely.
Super.
They're here for Nesta. They say that she stole something from the cauldron and the king wants it back. And Feyre sort of pieces together that that's why the cauldron won't work on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Not because its power is spent.
No.
But because Nesta took too
much.
much.
A little piece. She took a chunk. A bite.
Yeah.
Out of that nasty bitch.
Yeah. So they start running.
They sure do.
Down towards the bottom of the library.
Yeah.
Into the pit of darkness.
Scuttling. Feyre has a plan. And she's like, you gotta trust me, girl.
Uh-huh.
And just leads Nesta down to the bottom. And the ravens obviously pursue them.
Yeah. And while they're chasing them, just casually, like, trying to have a conversation, the ravens are like, have you heard what happened to the queens? They're like, have you heard?
Yeah. I feel like they're trying to intimidate, maybe.
Yeah.
But also they're giving away a lot.
They are giving away a lot of information.
I feel like this is a dumb move on their part.
We learn that, the young queen went in first.
Right.
We knew that.
Yeah.
But we never knew what happened after she came out.
Yeah.
So we learn that, when she went in, she was young. But when she came out, she's like this old crone.
She was old.
She is old and wrinkly.
Withery. But immortal now. Here's mortally old.
Yeah.
Eternally really saggy.
Yeah. So the cauldron gave her immortality, but it took.
It was mad. It
what
was mad.
She wanted.
And got
most.
revenge. Yep. And then Feyre's like, oh, Elaine's messages.
Oh my god.
No shit. They were real.
Oh my god.
It wasn't obvious at all.
No.
Feyre. God.
She totally wasn't talking about the cauldron this
I know.
whole time.
I'm so annoyed with them. Like, you all are very smart.
Yeah. Except for Feyre. I mean,
she's getting smarter.
She's gotten better.
She's gotten better. But, like,
she's got a real dumb
I think
streak.
Az is the only one who knew and wouldn't say anything, probably because he was trying to confirm one way or another.
Yeah.
But, like, you'd think he'd be like, y'all.
Here's my theory.
Yeah, let's listen.
Yeah,
maybe.
why aren't we communicating, guys?
Yeah,
Come
what's
on.
that about? Even Reese, like, come on. You're smarter than that.
He is smart.
Come on.
You are the most powerful High Lord.
Come on.
You gotta have a brain in there, too.
Get your shit together.
Come on.
Nonetheless, they're realizing that some shit from Elaine is true.
Yeah.
But then Feyre, like, blocks Nesta off from the raven somehow, like, brings down some shelves.
Yeah, she tells Nesta to run up. Feyre, like, looks up and sees a light, and she tells Nesta to run to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so as soon as Nesta starts running, which she hesitates, she's like, I don't want to leave you.
Yeah.
But then she goes anyways. She's like, all right, fuck you. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Nesta, fucking...
Feyre?
Feyre. Thank you. My brain is slowly withering away.
We're recording later than normal.
Feyre, yeah, like, knocks over a stack of books or something, and it ends in, like, a domino effect, and so they're blocked off and can't chase her. But then they're like, you're dumb. You think we won't catch her?
Yeah, we'll get her later, you stupid. And then Feyre makes it to the bottom of this pit that is supposed to be super scary and not cool.
I don't think she does. She doesn't. She's, like, feeling around in the dark, and she can't really feel anything, so she's, like, afraid she's gonna fall into the pit.
Is there a pit, though?
Yes. I imagine the center is a pit
but
down
she's,
to
like,
the bottom.
Gone all the way the hell down there.
I don't think they've gone all that far down.
Okay.
Maybe they have. I don't know.
But she feels like
one
she's
of
made it.
the ravens, yells something at her, and says something about her being the High Lady, and so she hears a whisper behind her.
You're the High Lady?
You're the High Lady?
I don't know if we are bad at voices, guys. We will never do audiobooks.
You're the High Lady?
You're the High Lady. I think that was better.
That was good.
That was pretty good.
I liked that one.
And she's like, oh, jeez, Louise.
Oh,
It's right behind her. She doesn't want to turn around. It's creepy as hell.
she begs it to help her.
And it knows the bone carver. It mentions, like, either smelling the bone carver on her or, like, knowing that she went to see him.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember that.
It knows good old BC.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
doesn't say anything else about that.
Yeah.
And then Feyre goes and makes another fucking bargain.
Yeah, Feyre asked it to help her, and it's like, what shall you give me?
Yeah.
Feyre's like, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
Come on, just help me.
I'm about to die!
And the thing just tells her that it wants company.
I just want a friend.
Someone to come tell it.
Let it tell them about her life. Its life.
No, it wants them
Oh.
to tell it about
Oh, okay.
life.
Okay.
I mean, it's stuck in this pit.
Yeah, but
it
why
wants
is
to
it
hear
stuck in
about...
this pit? I want to know more. I'm sure I know we find out more, but
Do we?
I
don't
think
remember.
so. I think it comes up again. But nonetheless, she makes a bargain. She's like, okay, fine. Yeah, I'll bring people to talk to you.
Yep.
Just murder them.
Yep.
And so it does. The creature goes after the ravens, and there's just like blood-curdling scream. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
They're getting ravaged.
But yeah, the lights come on.
Yeah, well, and Cass comes swooping on down.
Yeah. And the ravens are like looking over Feyre's shoulder, and they're like, oh god.
Or they walk up with a fey light. Like, they bring a light with them.
Okay.
Nonetheless, she sees their terror,
Yeah.
and then they get fucked up.
The thing tells her to close her eyes.
Yeah, that's kind
And
of it,
then
I guess.
she's like,
The thing's like,
all I hear
you
is
don't need to
screaming."
see
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I'm really ugly. I didn't do my hair today.
hideous.
Close the eyes.
And then Cassian shows
And then
up.
Cass comes, yeah.
And then Reese shows up.
And everyone's coming.
And Reese is like, Cassian, get her the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And Nesta.
And Reese is like, you need to close your eyes, don't look.
And
Eh.
there's, yeah.
Yeah. And Feyre does look back, and Reese has, like, blocked it all somehow
Yeah.
with his magical magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Magical magic. But Cassian takes Feyre. They go upstairs. Nesta's waiting up there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, like, a sweet little moment between Nesta and Cassian where she, like, runs into his arms.
This
curls
happens
into him.
when Reese sends the vision to Feyre a little bit later. They describe that. Because Feyre asks Reese a little later, like, what happened before Cass came to get me? And it shows the whole scenario.
Well, it happened twice.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, she runs into his arms when they get to the top of the stairs.
Oh, okay. She's like, yes, you saved my sister!
Yeah.
But then they go
They do.
to the library, the family one, in the House of Wind. And Cass just gives him booze. He's like, you gonna need this.
You guys
Just
okay?
drink this shit. You
Yeah.
need to take the edge off. And says that there's been no sign of the king
Mm-hmm.
yet.
They've been searching the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Reese comes with bloody hands.
Yep, and Feyre has a new tattoo.
Yeah, she does.
And Reese is kind of pissed about it.
He is,
He's
but
like,
he
you made
isn't.
another bargain.
He's like, girl,
Girl, come on.
come on, girl. But also, was it worth it? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, fair.
Well, and she tells him, like, you know, I made sure that I was safe. I didn't specify who the company would be.
Yeah, or when. Yeah.
I would send them.
Right.
So, that's good.
Yeah.
Feyre was smart, I guess.
Yeah. Reese talks about how he got as much info from the Ravens as he could, but it wasn't much of anything.
Yeah.
And then they obviously were murdered.
Yeah.
And then he asks Nesta what she took from the cauldron. And she's like, I don't know. No clue. What are you laughing at?
My notes. I had a typo that's kind of funny.
What's it say?
It says ween instead of queen.
That would make you giggle. And I appreciate it, because I giggled too. Reese also talks about how the king also used one-time fleeting spell to break their wards.
Yeah.
Like, he can't use it again.
Yeah. Can anyone use it again?
I don't know.
Is my question.
Maybe.
Because
But
that's
also,
interesting.
yeah. Is it like a one-time cauldron use? Or is it like a one-time for you, KH?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. But Amryn is already, like, adapting the wards to prevent that kind of thing again.
Yes.
They're shutting down the city early, and Amryn's going
Amryn's
hunting.
going
Hunting.
She is indeed.
And it turns out that Clotho was the one who warned everybody.
Yeah.
Apparently there's
a bell.
Yeah, just ring it. And he said that everyone gets the message.
Yeah.
Like, so more Amryn, everybody gets
Yeah.
it, and Cass was the closest.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's
what is
interesting.
this bell?
And where does it ring?
Yeah.
Like, my question is, everyone gets the message. Is it like a ding, ding, ding? And, like, everyone near them can also hear the bell, or is it a bell in their head?
I don't know. That's a great question. Yeah, I'm not sure. What's the alert?
Ding,
It's
ding,
like
ding,
a text message notification. Emergency.
Front desk bell. Ding, ding, ding.
I don't know. But she helped him out.
Not important.
No. And Reese is like, we need to get it together, guys. We can't act like we've been ruffled by this. Like, we gotta stand firm, right, for the meeting that's coming up.
Because they don't want the other High Lords to think that they're weak.
No. And Elaine is around for this, apparently.
Of course she is.
And she goes, the queen might come.
She actually says, the Ween might come.
The Ween. She might be on her way. And
they think she's talking about the young queen, I think.
Well, yeah. Yeah. And Az asks which one. And she's like, the one with feathers of flame.
Uh-huh.
And then Az is like, the cauldron made you a seer.
Mm-hmm. Why are you throwing that out there now, Az? Why?
Why couldn't you have said something sooner?
Why?
Before they all thought she was batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Wild.
The queen with the feathers.
Fire, feathers of flame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We learned about
Sephrim. Is that what they are called? I feel like it's wrong now. Seraphim? Okay.
What is her name?
Noelle? I can look.
No, it's not important. I just wonder if that's her.
Yeah.
If she's the queen with the feathers of flame.
Yeah. Maybe not her, out? But like, I mean, we learn about her later, yeah. But, Nefel?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Something like that.
It's fine. It's not important.
Anyway,
I just wonder if it's her.
Maybe not her, but like Seraphim or whatever.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
I don't either.
So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
But she's got feathers.
Why wouldn't it be her?
I don't know. It could be. I guess. They're fake.
Oh, well. Maybe.
I don't know. It's possible.
Anyways.
We learn, actually, that this queen goes by Vasa.
Uh-huh.
But that's not her real name. They never knew it.
Oh, yeah. They, like, pieced together that this queen that Elaine is talking about is the sixth queen.
That never showed up.
And
before.
Who the Golden Queen told them wasn't actually sick.
Yeah. We find out that Voss is cursed by a sorcerer lord.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And that she's a firebird by day, human by night, and lives by a lake on the continent.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't
not...
the Bone Carver's brother by a lake on the continent?
Yes. And she's not alone. He has, like, other women held prisoner, too, I feel like.
So are those not related?
They gotta be.
Good old, what's his face?
No, I don't remember.
Korshi or something.
Koshi.
Yeah. There are others there. And then Lucian, everyone's like, well, we don't have time to go find her, like, and I don't want to risk anybody going to the continent. And Lucian volunteers himself.
Yeah, I feel like Feyre's about to, like, volunteer.
Yeah, she's like, everyone is important here.
Yeah.
Which, you're also important, Faye, relax. But
she's kind of infuriating sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
she doesn't understand what's right in front of her.
No.
It's like imposter syndrome, though. She's fucking 19 and the high lady of the night court. Like,
True.
come on.
She's got to be 20 at this point.
At least 20. That's a big difference. I was definitely super mature at 20.
So much more mature than 19. Oh, my God.
Yeah, but Lucian offers to go in her stead.
Yeah.
Because it could be a potential ally. Vasa.
And he has that weird lazy eye.
The eye.
That can see through wards and glamours.
Uh-huh.
His eye can see through glamours?
Yeah.
Feyre had a glamour on her tattoo in Spring Court.
She did. I mean, he was sus the whole time. He knew the whole time.
He was sus.
But he did act surprised.
Why wouldn't he say anything to Tamlin?
But he also acted surprised when they got back and she revealed it.
Right.
And said, I'm the High Lady of the Night Court.
Right.
Yeah, that's a plot hole. Plot hole.
Thank you. I finally found one.
She's like, I've been searching. Unless Feyre's just wearing sleeves all the time.
Well, no. Because she specifically talked about how... Like, she thought her headaches were coming from constantly having a glamour on her arm.
I mean, yeah, she had a glamour, but I'm wondering if she also wore
Why
sleeves.
would she then glamour her arm if she had sleeves
true.
on, Danielle?
Okay.
Quit trying to...
Plot hole.
Quit trying to fix
I
my
agree
plot
with
hole.
You.
Plot hole.
She's really intense about this plot hole, guys.
I've been searching.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And then Rhys is like feeling like he's failed everyone because Hybern got in, especially the priestesses. He like worries about their well-being.
Yeah,
that
he's
are
super worried
in
about
the library
because they were like already friggin' traumatized,
Right.
and now they're
Read.
feel unsafe in their own.
Yeah. Well, and like the
Place.
Ravens pulled one over on them. They were pretending to be like scholars or something.
Yeah, like once they
It's a
came,
whole ruse.
they yes, and they also like demodied into their minds and
Yeah.
forced the priestesses to let them in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure they didn't look like fucking scholars. Let's be real.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I like books. Let me in.
Me.
And Feyre tells Rhys that none of what happened today was your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to let that go.
Yeah, even she's like, even Asriel didn't know they were here.
Yeah.
As if that's supposed to make him feel
Well,
better.
he is the spy who's
That's
supposed
true.
to know things.
You're
he
right.
hears and,
You're
you know.
right.
Come on, Shadow Singer.
You're
Shadow
right.
Singer.
Stop it, we're not singing.
We could. Anyway. And then, later on, or the next day or something, we learned that Amryn didn't find anything on her hunt. But people were, like, putting out blood offerings for her.
Yeah, or painting their doors in blood,
Yeah.
or leaving cups of lamb blood for
I love
her.
that for her.
I know.
They're
like, we see you. Please don't
Please
kill us.
don't eat us. Well, they said something about, like, you know, they know that she is the monster that guards them from all the other monsters.
Yeah.
Like, they know Amryn's not what she seems.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cute.
Yeah.
And funny.
I know, I love her.
I love Amryn too. And also, she's supposed to be this tiny little girl. Like, she's
And she's this
just
big,
out
powerful,
hunting.
yeah.
I don't know if I want to see Amryn hunting then, if, like, they're afraid and leaving blood.
True.
She's probably not actually. I don't know why I'm thinking of her, like, eating people. She's just looking around, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think.
I'm sure if she found Hybern somebody, she'd eat them.
Would she?
Or do something.
Does she eat humans?
Or put illusions in their mind.
They've never talked about her eating humans.
Yeah, that's
only
true.
lamb blood.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't
Do
know.
those ethereal clouds eat? Why does she drink blood?
I don't know.
If she's meant to be...
And she's taken over this body.
Yeah.
This fae body.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they did, like, ruin and destroy cities, so maybe they fed off people or whatever.
Yeah, but wouldn't this body need normal, like, human fae nutrients?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not just blood?
What's that about?
Does
Weird...
she also eat food?
No.
I didn't think so.
She never does.
No.
Yeah, just blood.
Interesting.
Well, tell us.
Maybe we'll find out.
Maybe.
Probably not.
You know. Rhys also dropped Lucian off at the continent.
Oh, yeah.
To find the queen. And they find out that Hybern is attacking the Summer Court.
Yeah.
Like, laying siege. Right then.
Yeah. Amryn, like, storms in. And she's like, guys, we gotta go.
Varian sent her a message.
Yep.
Because they're weird lovers.
Yeah, they're weird.
That's what I think
Indeed.
so, anyway. I mean, he sent her a necklace. She's all hot and bothered by him. They stood together and smoked in silence.
Yeah.
They gotta be lovers.
They gotta be. They are one and the same with their awkward quiets.
Yes. But then, of course, it's like immediate action. They gotta take action. Because Tarkeen is severely outnumbered. All of his troops are, like, dispersed in different locations, so he doesn't even have his full force on site right now. And Rhys immediately goes into commander mode.
Yeah. Well, Rhys is like, Kair's Darkbringers, or whatever
Not ready.
called. They're not going to be ready.
Darkbringers, you were right. That's a dumb name.
I agree. What do they do?
Bring the dark.
And then he asks Cassian, like, how quick can you have a Illyrian Legion ready to fly?
Yeah.
And Cass like, on it.
Got you. Him and Rhys leave to, like, gather the Illyrians.
Yeah.
Amryn is staying in Valaris to protect Nesta and Elaine, and also protect the city, because she's the only one who can do it alone.
Yeah.
And then Feyre and Moore are, like, waiting for Rhys's signal to winnow over to Summer.
Yeah.
And once they get it, they winnow in, and it's already chaos. There's war afoot.
There is battle.
She sees Rhys fighting. All the Illyrians are in battle. There's a shit ton of, like, Hybern ships and not enough Summer ships, and it's just chaos.
Yeah.
And she's sort of overwhelmed immediately.
Yeah. And she
fair.
also immediately thinks of Alice, who fled Spring Court and went to Summer.
Right.
And she's like, oh, God, I hope she's not here.
Yeah. Yeah.
with her nephews.
I know. She went there to be safe because
Yeah.
the spring court was crumbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope Alice is okay.
Yeah. And Feyre is just immediately, like, struck by war. I think she had it painted in her mind to be these, like, perfect lines of troops marching towards each other. But it's just, like, chaos everywhere.
It's chaos.
There's Illyrians flying. There's freaking magic flying. Like, shit's getting real.
Yeah.
So Moore's like, well, our job is to go to the palace. And when they get there, they find that all the high fae have locked themselves up in the top and left all the lesser fae to, like, fight for themselves.
Fend for themselves,
Yeah.
Which
really
made
nice.
me so mad.
And the lesser fae don't have the same kind of magic.
No,
like,
they
can't
don't
just
have-
blast people apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their power is nothing compared to a high fae.
Like, maybe 100 of them could compare to one.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be it. And this is badass, okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. So, of course, Moore and Feyre are there.
Of course.
And they got to get busy immediately
do.
because there's just Hiberns everywhere.
Yeah. And Moore doesn't have very much faith in Feyre. She's like, if you can't make the killing blow, just guard my back.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure.
Feyre's like, bitch, I got this.
I'm sure that Moore's saying that because, like, she's been in war.
Yeah,
Feyre's not.
it's a lot.
Like, war is overwhelming, I'm
For
sure.
sure.
I have a quote.
Read that shit.
Thank you, I will. But they make really quick work of
They
the
do.
palace.
They
and
do.
they
are badass.
The first
team.
battle is really fast. Like, there's not much going on. They're just like, wah, 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 dead.
Yeah.
You're all dead, suckers. But then they get...
Oh, I'm dead.
Exactly. And then they move on and find a bunch of Tarquin's soldiers trying to, like, fight off some dudes. And Moore says, don't be afraid. Moore says, as I stretched out a hand and darkness fell. Soldiers on both sides shouted, scrambling back, armor clanging. But I shifted my eyes, made them night-seeing, as I had done in the Lyrian forest when I had first drawn Hybern blood. Moore, I think, was born able to see in the darkness. We winnowed through the ebon-veiled corridor in short bursts. I could see their terror as I killed them, but they could not see me. Every time we appeared in front of Hybern soldiers, frantic in the impenetrable dark, their heads fell, one after another. Winnow, slash, winnow, thump, until there were none left. Only the mounds of their bodies, the puddles of their blood. I was like, oh!
Amazing.
Yeah. The coolest,
then-
most badass lady fighting duo.
Yeah, and then Feyre, like, turns the lights back on.
Yeah.
And all of the friggin' summer soldiers are like, what the?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's so fast.
How did you do that?
I think in the first battle, though, they leave a couple Hybern soldiers, like, near death so
For
that
the
the lesser
lesser
fae
fae.
to murder the shit
Yeah,
out of them.
they
They even give them Illyrian blades.
Give them weapons. Yeah.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, that was badass of them. I loved that for them. And
Yeah.
once they clear the palace, they move on to the streets.
Yeah.
And after they've, like, cleared enough of the streets, they can't be completely cleared.
No, absolutely not. But
They, like-
Feyre, like, takes a second
Yeah,
and reaches down the bond to make sure Reese is okay.
yeah. And he
And
lets her in. I
Shit
know.
gets real here.
He is an adamant wall.
Yeah.
Adamant?
Yeah.
That's right.
He's got a wall.
I don't know why adamant felt
adamant.
wrong. Anyway, his wall is impenetrable right now.
Yeah.
But he lets her in.
She describes it like it's not a wall anymore. It's a palace.
Fortress.
A fortress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a palace. I don't know.
I'm
I
pretty sure
just-
fortress.
And he, like, lets her in real quick and closes it behind her.
Yeah.
So she's just not in her body anymore. She's trapped inside Reese.
It was fortress.
Okay, great. I'm glad we clarified.
Yep, he traps her.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
And he's, like,
He had just landed.
on a boat,
He, like, traps her and then lands on a boat.
on a ship.
On a ship.
And he's
And-
exhausted as shit. His magic is dwindling.
Yeah, but when he lands, just immediately 6 people are dead.
He missed some.
Yeah.
He's back to his misting.
Yeah.
I love that for
I
him.
friggin' love it.
But also misting,
the end of this.
I guess that would be like a pretty nice way to die.
Yeah,
I
quick,
can't imagine
easy,
it's painful.
painless.
It's just like, you're
Yeah.
gone.
It's like
You
getting
just
beheaded.
never existed.
It's got to be like
Yeah.
done. You know?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Although I wonder if when you get beheaded, if your brain is still like how long your brain stays connected.
I think as soon as the spinal cord is severed, you're done. Dawn.
Dawn.
And generally they do it from the back, which is where the spinal cord would be. So I'm sure it's very quick. Does anyone know from personal experience?
Can you let us know, please? Anyways.
Anyhow.
We learned that Reese, like, tracked this ship. Mm-hmm. He, like, worked his way feeling the drain on his powers until he reached the ship. So something on this ship is draining their powers.
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. He gets there, and who freaking saunters up from below deck?
Freaking King of Highburn.
Freaking King.
Freaking Todd. Or
Paul.
Mark.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
We're a hot mess. But yeah, the king comes up. He's like, hey.
I'm the king.
And Ray.
Reese?
Ray.
Oh,
No, but I meant to say Reese, but I mixed their names.
Okay.
In his mind, and talking to Fairy, he's considering killing the king.
Yeah.
He's going back and forth between killing him or keeping him alive to, like, bring back in question.
Yeah, he says, if I was smart, I would take him alive. Figure out a way to take him alive so that Az could have him. Mm-hmm. Which,
yeah.
So do it.
Well.
No, kill that bitch.
Yeah, you need to kill him. He needs to go. And that's what Feyre keeps telling him. She's like, you need to fucking kill him.
Yeah, she's also begging him to let one of them come help him.
Yeah, or to leave. Like, get out of there, dude. Your magic is dampered.
Yeah.
You are in a trap, potentially. And she's like, stop. And he's like, no, it's fine.
And Feyre's the only one who knows what's going on, and she's trapped in his mind.
And she can't tell anyone she's trapped. Stressed. Reese, get your shit together. But he's calculating and also trying to distract the king in all of this. And the king brings up Feyre and her powers and how he, like, plans to take her once the war is said and done.
And once Reese is killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Reith, of course... Reith? It's going downhill, y'all. Reese is seething. He's pissed. He's like, if you don't touch my mate.
Don't even talk about it.
And then he asks the king why. And I have a quote.
Yeah. Does it have something to do with pigs? Human pigs?
Yeah, probably.
Cool. I have that quote too, but I'll let you read it.
Okay.
You're better at it.
I don't know if I am. This is on page 364. The king says, there was room at the table for everyone, you and your ilk claimed. For humans, lesser fairies, for half-breeds. In this new world of yours, there were room at the table for everyone, so long as they thought like you. But the loyalists, how you delighted in shutting us out, looking down your noses at us. You want to know why? Because we suffered. When you stifled us, when you shut us out. I have no interest in spending another 5 centuries seeing my people bow before human pigs, seeing them claw out a living while you shield and coddle those mortals, granting them our resources and wealth in exchange for nothing. So we shall reclaim what is ours, what was always ours, and will always be ours. And Reese was like, you can certainly try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has a vengeance. He's pissy. He's jealous of the mortals.
Yeah.
He's just a big toddler, kind of like Tampon.
Yeah. And the king tells Reese that, like, this battle is just a taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
This is just a fraction
you ain't seen nothing yet.
This is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Reese is like, bitch, I'm gonna get you.
I'm
gonna get you with my tentacles.
He sends out a blast of power, and the king just disappears.
Yeah, he, like, shudders a little bit, and then poof.
He was fake.
It was a friggin' illusion.
It was an illusion.
Yeah.
But when he disappears, all the magic comes back.
Yeah.
And Reese just missed everybody.
Yeah.
I think it says
he says it something like he gave them a moment enough to lift their swords.
Yeah.
And then missed
Missed
everyone
all,
on the
every
ship
last one.
and all of the surrounding ships.
Just bye.
Bye, bitch.
You are now. That's
you
a
are
lot.
now
Can you imagine?
missed.
There's just like people floating in the air. You're breathing in people.
Gross.
I guess fake.
Oh, can you imagine the smell?
Yeah, I don't want to.
With your face senses? Ugh. Sick.
Well, they're already struck by the smell when Moore and Pharaoh arrive. They're like, man, it's stinky. Moore's like, I didn't miss this. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Anyhow, after that goes down, Moore like pulls Feyre out of Reese, or at least shakes her awake. That sounds weird.
Yeah, she's shaking her. She's
Yeah.
like, Feyre!
Yeah. And
Come on.
Feyre's shook.
Get it together.
Feyre's shook. Yeah, Moore says all that.
In that voice, specifically.
Get it together, you idiot. But Feyre's not okay.
No.
One, because of what just happened with Rhys, but also because she just experienced her first battle.
Yeah.
And she's not okay.
She's not okay. She pukes.
Yeah.
This bitch always pukes.
She's puking.
All the time.
Hey. It's just a guttural reaction.
I guess.
I mean, I feel like
if I just saw all that carnage, I would probably vomit.
Yeah, that. But like, absolute terror, I feel like it could make you puke.
True.
Yeah.
All right, I was being judgy. I'm sorry.
Well, get it together, Sarah. Come on.
Sorry.
And she also talks about how, like, she's trying to get back to herself the way she thought before. Like, she's painting this picture of war fundamentally changed her. Like, this battle changed everything she knew. And she doesn't want Rhys to know how messed up she's feeling right now. Like, she keeps the bond closed. She doesn't want him to know. Are you pulling a quote? Because I have one written down, and I wonder if it's the same.
Yeah, so I just have some of, like, Feyre's thoughts on the war.
Okay.
That I want to read.
Yeah, that's probably my quote.
On page 368.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't only the cost of life that ripped and devastated and sundered. It was the altering of a soul with it, the realization that I could perhaps go back home to Valaris, perhaps see peace achieved and cities rebuilt. But this battle, this war, I would be the thing forever changed.
Yeah.
War would linger with me long after it had ended, some invisible scar that would perhaps fade but never wholly vanish. But for my home, for Prythian and the human territory and so many others, I would clean my blades and wash the blood from my skin, and I would do it again and again and again.
That's exactly the quote that I had picked. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And paints a wild picture for Miss Feyre.
For sure.
But then they're back at the Summer Palace.
Yep.
And they see Varian, like, tending to wounded soldiers. And he comes up and sends them to Tarkeen.
Yeah, he says specifically, he's in the oak room.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, ooh, Rhys.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Tarkeen.
It's good old Tartar. And he is pissed.
Yeah.
He's still grumpy.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought you came to finish the job, is what he tells Feyre.
Yeah.
He thinks they were there to kill him.
Yeah.
And I put why with a bunch of question marks.
And Moore tells him, like, we would never ally with Hybern.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why he thought... They literally came to petition for your help in this war.
Literally.
That's why they were here. Well, and to steal shit from you, sure. But they were like, yo, there's a war coming. You want to be buds?
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah.
But I think it's because Tarkeen didn't know they were coming. Like, Varian's the one who sent a message to Amryn, and Tarkeen had no idea that they were coming with their legion.
Yeah.
And Feyre tells him our dreams are the same.
Yeah.
Because he keeps asking, why'd you do it?
Yeah. He also, I mean, then gives them a piece of his mind and basically says all of this is Feyre's fault. Because of what she did in Spring Court.
Yeah.
Hybern was able to infiltrate Spring heavily, and it gave them easy access to their borders.
Yeah. And Rhys is like, Spring made their own freaking decisions, bud. Mm-hmm. Watch your mouth.
Yeah. Don't talk to my woman.
Don't talk to my woman. And Feyre tells him that they're at their disposal.
Yeah.
And also to, tend to your wounded. And Tarkin's like, don't give me orders.
Uh-huh.
And Rhys is like, well, she's a high lady. She can do what she wants.
Uh-huh.
And Tarquin's like, you always loved spitting on tradition.
Mm-hmm. Then he tells him to get out.
Yeah.
He's like, you bitches go.
Yeah, even though I have a bunch of wounded Illyrians.
Get out of here.
Get out.
So they do.
Well,
but they stay.
Close. Yeah. They stay close by.
In the hills.
In the hills. Adriata.
The city.
And they're tending to their wounded. They have to, make sure they're okay before they can leave.
They have a bunch of people who are too hurt to travel.
Yeah. And Feyre keeps busy by helping.
Yeah.
And then passes out.
Yeah.
She sits down and passes out.
She sits on a bucket.
Yeah. She keels over.
Falls asleep. And when she wakes up, she's in a tent with Rhys, who tells her that she, fell face first into the mud.
Like, Feyre, you need to give yourself a sec. And they're chatting, and he has a list of casualties, and it seems like the Lyrians only had about 100.
Yeah.
Summer took a greater hit,
Yeah.
much more.
We learned that Cassian will be the one to, like, send out the list once he confirms how many people have died.
Yeah, and also...
And that he'll go visit the families of people he knew.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I'm like, you should go visit them all, buddy.
Yeah, take the time.
Come
It's not like
on.
anything else is going on. But then Feyre goes on to tell Rhys to, like, move the meeting with the High Lords up a few days. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
He does it.
Yep.
He says down. And then Feyre talks about the meeting and how Rhys is going to present himself and thinks that they should drop all these masks.
Yeah.
I have a quote.
Okay.
If you want it.
Yeah.
I know I keep reading them, but...
That's okay. Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Feyre says that they, you know, they need to hit the king where it's going to hurt him.
Yeah.
They need to figure that out.
So when they're talking about, like, dropping masks and being their true selves for these High Lords, she says, Valaris is secret no longer. The king knows too much about us, who we are, what we are, and if we're to ally with the other High Lords, I think they need the truth. They will need the truth in order to trust us. The truth about who you really are, who Mor and Cassie and Azriel really are. Look at how poorly things went with Tarkeen today. We can't let it continue like this. So no more masks, no more roles to play. We go as ourselves as a family.
I know. I love it.
I do too.
And I agree.
I do too.
Sort of.
But like everyone else is going to be like, you're just making shit up.
Yeah.
To try to get on our good side. After however many years of Rhys being this horrendous evil guy.
It's true. And they do decide that they'll still continue to hide Feyre's powers.
Yeah, except for the ones from Rhys.
Yeah.
Because they could come from the mating bond.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They talk about how there's no word from Miriam and Dracon yet. Still.
Yeah. There's no trace of them anywhere.
Yeah, they can't find him. And once they get back to the townhouse, Amryn asks about what happened, and then Nesta just is worried about Cassian.
Yeah.
She's like, where is he?
Where is he?
Where is he? Mor gets weird. Mor gets really weird.
She does.
Yeah.
She gets real...
Territorial,
defensive. She's like, don't worry about him.
Mm-hmm. And Rhys is like, Mor, shit.
Yeah.
Relax.
And Mor tells Nesta, like, to keep her... forked tongue behind her teeth when he gets back. She's like, do not be mean to him.
Yeah.
Basically.
Even though Nesta's asking in a worried manner.
Yeah.
All right, Mor. If you wanted Cassian, you should have taken him a long time ago. I'm just saying. And then Amryn pulls Nesta away for all that. She's like, let's go study.
Yeah.
Do our lessons. And then Feyre tells Rhys she wants to go back to the prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after Amryn pulls Nesta away, she, like, ensures her a little more that, like, Cassian's been to battle. He's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
He's done this a time or two.
And I thought that was sweet.
She's
like,
sweet.
it's okay, honey.
Yeah, it's okay. Also relax.
Don't worry about him. He loves you too. It's okay.
Shh, sweet baby child.
But yeah, Feyre orders Rhys to take her to the prison right now.
Yes. Yep.
So he does.
Rhys doesn't ask questions.
No.
So they go. I never took notes on this chapter, so...
Oh.
Cool. It's fine, I have an idea. They go to the prison. Okay?
They do.
They go down to the bone carver.
They do. Feyre orders him to pick a different object.
She does.
She's like, bitch, you gotta pick something else.
Yeah. Yep. Pick something else, and he's like, nah, I don't want anything else.
Nothing he desires more. And he makes a weird comment about, what would you give me? Your firstborn child? And then gestures to his own body.
Yeah, and Rhys catches on and looks at Feyre.
What?
And through the bond, he says, not just any boy then.
Uh-huh.
And she says, no, not just any boy. And I know it. But there's nothing else. The carver will take nothing else. And she's like, all right, well, this was a freaking waste of time.
Yeah.
And they had to leave, and the bone carver's like, where's my bone?
I think he's more like, where's my bone?
No, where's my bone?
I like that you said your no in his voice too. Oh, no.
Can I have a bone? And Reese throws him a chicken bone.
And he's pissed.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Like, oh!
I mean, fair. That's what happens.
That's as they're walking away.
Got it. I'm glad you added that effect. I really felt like I was there. But then as they're leaving, Reese asks through the bond, what does he look like?
Uh-huh.
And Feyre shows him.
She shows him.
I cannot.
But anyways, they go back to the townhouse.
Yeah.
And they go straight to the kitchen because they are famished.
Super hungry.
And friggin' who's in there? Do you
Elaine.
remember? You do.
She's making bread with Noelle and Caradwin. Yeah. And they were like, she was hungry.
And she wanted to
which
learn.
She hasn't wanted to eat until now.
Yeah.
It was like Azriel being like, you're a seer, freed her
She's like, oh.
of her cloud. I mean, they even mentioned that.
I am that.
Yeah, well, that's what this is. That's what she said.
Oh,
like,
I'm not broken?
That's a trip.
Maybe everyone will stop treating me like I'm fucking dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe people will start listening now.
Yep.
So, but Feyre, like, rushes Reese out of the room because she doesn't want to, like, put any pressure on Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
So they leave.
Yeah. And Reese tells her, that was what I felt when I saw you smile the night we dined along the Cedra.
I know.
Because Feyre's just, like, elated.
Yeah, she's,
to
like,
see.
glowing.
Yeah. She's
Happy.
so happy for it. And then Nesta, next
morning,
at breakfast.
she's waiting
She's waiting.
for Cassian.
And
He's not there.
Yeah, Cassian's not there still. And Amryn, first talking about how Amryn was talking about Nesta.
Mm-hmm.
And how she should just, like, if she would only unleash herself, then they could maybe fix the wall.
Yeah.
And
Feyre.
which, like, unleash yourself how? Amryn, give us more.
Yeah.
Amryn seems to know some stuff.
She does.
Can you not enlighten the rest? Share with the class.
Maybe she doesn't want to, like, put pressure on Nesta. I don't know.
guess.
But Feyre says, when Amryn says if she would just unleash herself, Feyre says something along the lines of, and maybe this is in her head and she doesn't say it out loud, I don't remember, but she wonders or says maybe the world isn't ready for that.
Yeah. Which, fair.
Yeah.
And then at breakfast, Nessa's there.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, so you're going to the meeting in 2 days?
Mm-hmm.
And Feyre's like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you want to know about it?
Yeah.
And Nessa's like, you also went into battle?
So willingly.
So willingly.
Without
And
a second thought.
Feyre's like, well, yeah, my people needed me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it leaves
The
off.
end. Yeah. Nesta doesn't really say anything
She's
else.
asking these questions, and I was so hoping she'd be like, I'm
Yeah,
down.
when she was like, so you're going to that meeting in 2 days or 3 days or whatever?
Uh-huh.
I thought she was going to be like, I'll come with you.
Yeah, and you went into battle to save us? Let me
me
train.
help.
Let
Yeah.
me train. Let me train my magic that I
Yeah.
can unleash.
And
We do something.
I'll come to that
Maybe
meeting
she
with
will
you
very
and
soon.
tell you the story.
I know.
Or tell them the story.
Yeah. Maybe something else will come. But that's where they left us, guys.
That is.
They. SJM and us.
They.
We chose this. But yeah. So
That was a heavy
it was a
set
lot
of
of
chapters.
stuff. I feel like we
Ton of
talked for at
info.
least 20 years. But it's good. It's better than the first section for me.
Yeah.
Mostly because we're not in the spring court anymore, let's be real.
I think that's why I hated it so much.
That's fair.
I struggled so hard through that first section.
Well, Tammy and his tantrums. I hate him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
this
gross.
was much better. It was a lot, though.
It was a lot.
Tons of info.
The war is so
war is
complicated.
heavy.
I know. It's intense.
Yeah.
And we got through some juicy stuff, y'all.
We did.
And we're headed to the High Lord meeting. Next episode.
Are.
Next week.
Next week,
We're
guys,
talking about ACOWAR still.
We are talking about ACOWAR. Chapters 41 through 63.
Yas. So you should tune in.
You should.
You can listen on your favorite podcast platforms. You can watch us on the tube.
Hey, YouTube.
YouTube. Not just any tube.
The tube. That one?
Yeah,
Right there?
my dog.
Yeah.
His name's Zeus, but we call him Tube. Anyway.
If you would be so kind as to leave us a rating.
Yeah.
If you're on
podcast
platforms. Subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Yeah.
Leave us a like and a comment and let us know what you think. If we missed anything.
Yeah, please do. We also make a lot of silly content. If you want to see that on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. You can find us on basically anything at Books and Crannies podcast.
Yeah. Do it. Follow us.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear y'all's thoughts later about what kind of books we should cover on this podcast.
Yeah.
Because we want to keep it fresh.
Definitely.
And we like all sorts of genres. It's not just really lengthy fantasy series.
We love that.
Yeah, we sure do. Absolutely.
We are open to anything.
Yeah.
So give us some suggestions.
Yeah.
Anyways, thanks for watching.
Thanks for
listening, guys.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.